Chapter 702. Mu Sanyang. I won't tell anyone about what happened between you and Wang Kai. Buzz. Suddenly, Saintess Yunxi's feeble laughter rang out from the disciple token of the heaven-reaching church. Wang Kai was not surprised. Saintess Yunxi had wanted to contact Mu Sanyang for a long time. She wanted to use her to get her fiancé in the mortal world. Now that the opportunity had come, Saintess Yunxi would not let it go. It was a pity that Xia Xinyan did not get Saintess Yunxi's help even though she had saved her. Wang Kai believed that Saintess Yunxi was not the kind of person who would forsake righteousness for profit. She did this because her obsession was too strong. Oh, I am surprised that Saintess Yunxi is so well-mannered. Tell me, what do you want? Mu Sanyang's eyes twinkled as she smiled. As the lady boss of the romantic floor, she could see that Saintess Yunxi had a motive for doing this. Help me find a man. His name is Zhang Hu. He was born in the Fengyang village in the north of the 6th domain. I have not seen him for 100 years. Mu Sanyang was stunned when she heard Yunxi's voice from the jade token. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai was baffled. That Zhang Hu was just an ordinary man, so why was Mu Sanyang so surprised? I can help you with this. He is still in the Fengyang village. Go and find him, Mu Sanyang said calmly. Whoosh! There is a rush of breathing on the other side of the jade token. Thud! Soon after, the connection with the jade tablet was lost and it fell to the ground. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang looked at each other. They knew that Saintess Yunxi must have gone to the Fengyang village. He is just an ordinary man. I haven't seen him for 100 years. How can he still be alive? Do ordinary people have such a long lifespan? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and said speechlessly. Mu Sanyang's eyes flashed. She frowned and said in a low voice, the man named Zhang who was originally immortal. But for some reason, he slaughtered the entire village and became a demon. Bedevilment? Whoosh! As soon as she said this, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. His expression suddenly changed as he looked at her and said indifferently, Then why did you tell her? Send her to her death. That's right. Dead people are the best choice to keep secrets. Mu Sanyang said frankly with a smile. Hearing this, Wang Kai curled his lips and couldn't help but touch his nose. With a rather playful smile, he said, That's good too. If Ben Xiao takes the opportunity to play the hero and save the beauty, won't her heart be captured? Hee, only the exceptionally intelligent Ben Xiao could come up with such a good plan. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Mu Sanyang was stunned. She never thought that Wang Kai's ultimate goal was to play the hero and save the beauty. Young Master Kai, if she's still alive, don't worry, you didn't lie to her. Zhang Hu is indeed still alive and is in Fengyang village. So, she won't be angry and tell anyone about us. Also, even if the world knows, what can they do? Ben Xiao only needs to lift a finger to defeat any enemy. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Clap, clap. You sure talk big. Suddenly, a series of clapping sounds were heard. A middle-aged man in a white robe appeared at the entrance of the 33rd floor. Behind him, there were 10 powerhouses in black robes. There were both men and women, and they entered in a single file. You talk big, but your fists are not small either. If you're not convinced, I can give you a kick. Good poem. Good poem. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Whoosh! Hearing Wang Kai's impromptu poem, everyone's face froze. Especially Mu Sanyang, who stared blankly at Wang Kai. She never thought that Wang Kai could compose a poem, and such a poem at that. It was simply unbearable. I was wondering who would come. So it's the great commander of the city, Lu Yijian. Mu Sanyang covered her face and giggled. She immediately went forward and wrapped her soft arms around Wang Kai's arm. Lu Yijian's face twisted when he saw their lovey-dovey look. Mu Fei, have you thought about the city lord's feelings? Lu Yijian asked in a deep voice. Clang, clang. As soon as he finished speaking, the 10 experts behind him all drew their swords and surrounded Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang in the center. Although they didn't release their Tao intent, Wang Kai could still sense it. The cultivation bases of these 10 experts were all at the Heavenly Emperor level. Moreover, Lu Yijian's cultivation base was at the Heavenly Return realm. He wasn't weaker than Mu Sanyang at all. He was also at the peak of the Heavenly Return realm. Lu Yijian, TSK, not bad, it's a good name. It's just that the person looks a little cheap. He's completely not as elegant and upright as Ben Xiao. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed with a rather playful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience points and 100 bragging points. Whoosh. The moment these words were spoken, Lu Yijian's brows immediately straightened. His gaze was cold as he stared at Wang Kai. Suddenly, he grinned and sneered. I've heard that you're from the Nine Heavens Palace. You even know this? Are you afraid? Then come over and kneel down. Shout that Ben Xiao is your father, and Ben Xiao will forgive you. Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered disdainfully. However, Mu Sanyang's face was full of coldness. She couldn't help but lower her head and look at the jade pendant. She raised her foot and directly crushed it. Young Master Kai, Sanyang already said that woman is unreliable. Mu Sanyang's eyes were full of anger as she sneered. Wang Kai wasn't surprised by this. Saintess Yunxi didn't fulfill her promise. Instead, after learning of Zhang Hu's whereabouts, she told Lu Yijian everything. From this, it could be seen that Yunxi wasn't far from the romantic floor just now. Huaner. Only you can frame her, but she can't betray you. Wang Kai secretly laughed and shook his head. Mu Sanyang's silver teeth suddenly bit her red lips when she heard this, but she didn't refute this at all. Indeed, she had the heart to harm others, and so did Yunxi. Capture this person and bring him back to the Domain Lord City for the Domain Lord to punish. As for you, Mu Fei, if you obediently return to the Domain Lord, I will also spare you some of your injuries. Lu Yijian said indifferently. Buzz. As soon as his voice fell, the 10 experts from the Domain Lord City simultaneously circulated their Tao while to cover their swords and attacked Wang Kai from both sides. Chapter 703. A bunch of trash at the bottom of the cultivation world. How dare they play with Ben Xiao, who can destroy the 9 heavens with a flick of his finger. The ignorant are truly fearless. Wang Kai laughed in disdain when he saw the situation. He flicked his finger and swallowed the 3 days not falling pill. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 100,000 experience and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th level of the Heavenly Lord realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining the achievement. You have bragged thousands of times. With this title, you can increase your bragging by 10 times. Host, Wang Kai Profession, Heavenly Warrior Realm, 8th Heavenly Lord Taoist Technique, Heavenly Path Heavenly Martial Technique, Extermination Thunder Fireblade, Golden Wind Kick Magical Ability, Luck Deprivation Technique, Great Summoning Technique Equipment, Ever-Changing Fan, 3 Days Pill, Heaven Saber Heavenly Power, Level 5 Astral Source Points, 0 Physique, Invulnerable Protector Beast, none bragging points. 11,000 experience, 09000000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. He hurriedly used his mind and glanced at the bragging points required to increase his realm. During this time, he did not pay attention to the attacks of the 10 experts surrounding him. His body was like a shooting star, being beaten back and forth. Long swords pierced his body, but they only cut his clothes and did not even leave a scratch on his skin. Seeing this scene, the 10 experts became even more annoyed. All kinds of Taoist techniques, magical abilities, and even heavenly martial techniques emerged one after another. However, Wang Kai was like a fool. He did not pay attention to them at all. No matter how they attacked him, His eyes were still slowly closed. This situation also caused Mu Sanyang and Lu Yijian to be stunned on the spot. For a moment, they did not know what was going on. Bragging thousands of times? If I continue to brag, it will increase by 10 times? Wang Kai closed his eyes, his heart filled with joy and joy. Now, to increase one realm, he needed to brag 9 times, which was 900,000 experience. And now, to increase the bragging reward by 10 times, one bragging would be 1 million. He could definitely raise his cultivation by a whole realm. If that was the case, wouldn't it be off the charts? Thinking of this, Wang Kai was overjoyed. He opened his eyes and slapped out. Under the release of level 5 Heaven's Might, the 10 powerhouses were sent flying and coughing up blood. Although those 10 cultivators were all at the Heavenly Emperor realm, their level was not at the peak. As for Wang Kai, he was an 8th level Heavenly Monarch with a 5th level Heavenly Power. He could definitely fight against a 4th level Heavenly Emperor or even a 5th level Heavenly Emperor expert. Caught off guard, those 10 people were beaten to a pulp. Damn it, with such an awesome Ben Shao, who would he be afraid of now? You? Come. Isn't it just the Heavenly Reversal Realm? Try to touch Ben Shao. If you can harm even a single hair on Ben Shao's head, I'll consider you awesome. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've obtained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th level Heavenly Monarch realm. Swish! Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mood immediately soared. Arrogant. Buzz. Bang. Suddenly, Lu Yijian furiously roared, then immediately stepped forward and fiercely slapped Wang Kai's chest with his palm. Wang Kai was sent flying back for nearly 100 meters before he hit the wall and stopped. Young Master Kai. Seeing this scene, Mu Sanyang turned pale with fright. She hurriedly flashed and appeared beside Wang Kai. However, Wang Kai acted as if nothing had happened. He even flicked the dust off his clothes in an extremely carefree manner. TSK, you're just a piece of trash at the peak of the Heavenly Reversal Realm. Do you know that Ben Shao had killed more than 100 rulers of the Heavenly Region back then? Your palm is no different from scratching an itch. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed with a disdainful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've obtained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 1st level Heavenly Emperor realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th level. Host, Wang Kai profession, Heavenly Martial Artist realm. 1st Heavenly Emperor Dao technique. Heavenly Dao Heavenly Martial technique. Extermination Lightning Fireblade. Golden Wind Kick Divine ability. Luck Deprivation technique. Great Summoning technique equipment. Ever-changing fan. Pill of 3 days. Heavenly Blade Heavenly Power. Level 6 Star Source points. 0 physique. Invulnerable Protector Beast. None bragging points. 13,000 experience. 0100000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at it and then urged his mind to close it. He didn't care at all about the experience points that had increased to 1 million. After all, just bragging now had a reward of 1 million experience points. Great Commander, his physique is very strange. Cough, cough, that's right. No matter how we attack, we can't hurt him in the slightest. We've already done our best. The 10 experts stood up one after another while clutching their chests. All of them looked at Wang Kai with fear in their eyes. 10 Heavenly Emperor Realm experts couldn't even harm a single hair on Wang Kai's head. This was truly a bit terrifying. Furthermore, what Wang Kai had displayed just now was the aura of a Heavenly Monarch. To be able to injure them, it was only because they were caught off guard. His physique is indeed very special, but his realm? Oh no, it should be said that his power of heaven is at the 5th level. Lu Yijian frowned and said in a deep voice. At the end of his words, his tone had already become much heavier. Swoosh. These words also shocked the 10 experts. All of them stared at Wang Kai with a greatly changed expression, especially Mu Sanyang, who had already fallen into a daze. Immediately, her heart was filled with joy. 5th level of power of heaven. At such a young age, heavenly monarch realm. Only the Empyrean Palace could nurture such a person, right? 5th level of power of heaven, heavenly monarch realm? No, you're wrong. Buzz. Suddenly, Wang Kai raised a finger and gently shook it a few times. Then, he released his power of heaven and Tao intent of the heavenly emperor realm. Perceiving the aura of the heavenly emperor realm, as well as the 6th level of power of heaven, Liu Yijian and the 10 experts' faces all became more and more unsightly. As for Mu Sanyang, she was even more ecstatic. You're really from the Empyrean Palace. That damn bitch. Liu Yijian's tone was terrifying. He clenched his teeth, and his intestines were green with regret. Such an outstanding youth. Other than the Empyrean Palace and a few other forces, who else could nurture him? The sad thing was, he actually believed the words of Saintess Yunshi. TSK, what's wrong? Are you afraid now? However, you still guessed wrong. In fact, Bin Shao is not as simple as being in the heavenly emperor realm. Well, to put it lightly, he's so strong that even the heavens dare not cover him. Wang Kai slightly raised his eyebrows and sneered with a rather arrogant expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 2nd level of the heavenly emperor realm. Swoosh. Perceiving Wang Kai's aura rising again, everyone was so scared that their faces turned pale. Chapter 704. How could he be so strong? Could he raise his cultivation just because he wanted to? What was Wang Kai's true level? Could it be that he was just pretending before? For a moment, Mu Sanyang pursed her red lips and looked at Wang Kai with a strange look in her eyes. She suddenly felt angry and reproachful. Since he was so strong, why did he have to threaten him? Bastard, I was only forced by the situation. How could I really have feelings for him? Mu Sanyang suddenly shook her head and secretly cursed with a slightly red face. At the same time, Liu Yijian was also shocked. After being messed with by Wang Kai, his heart became more and more regretful. To think that he had actually offended someone from the 9 Heavens Imperial Palace. Brother, I was rude just now. I didn't know you were coming. Please forgive me for not going out to meet you. Liu Yijian cupped his fist and smiled with an ugly expression. Not going out to meet you? Was he being rude? Such words made the corner of Wang Kai's eyes twitch. He immediately sneered with a disdainful expression. You can act pretentious to such an extent. Bin Shao also admires you. Ha, young Master Kai is right. This is the romantic floor, my Mu Sanyang's place, yet you've come to greet me. What are you greeting me for? Mu Sanyang covered her face and giggled. Whoosh. Seeing Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang working together to scold him, Liu Yijian's face became more and more ashen. Waves of killing intent appeared in his eyes, and his fists cracked. However, in the end, Liu Yijian didn't dare to get angry. Instead, he forced an ugly smile and cupped his fist again. Yes, it's all my fault. I hope the two of you don't blame me. Don't blame me. Looking at Liu Yijian's begging appearance, Wang Kai was speechless. Before, he was very unyielding, but now, he was scared like a mouse seeing a cat. She couldn't help but exchange a glance with Mu Sanyang. Both of them shook their heads and laughed. Liu Yijian, oh Liu Yijian, you're the great commander of the Domain Lord City, yet you're actually so timid. Aren't you afraid of losing face for the Domain Lord? Mu Sanyang sneered in disdain. Whoosh. Regarding this, Liu Yijian's eyes only darkened, but there wasn't much difference in his expression. He thought to himself, now that I can't even keep my life, how much is face worth? Could it be that saving his face could save his life? Obviously, it was impossible. Thinking of this, Liu Yijian smiled apologetically, as if what Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang said was correct. You're right. I've embarrassed the governor in the 6th domain. Lu Yijian smiled apologetically. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's brows immediately twisted. He was truly unable to believe how this fellow had broken through to the heavenly return stage. Could it be that he relied on flattery to climb up bit by bit? Looking at his current appearance, it was most likely the case. All right, Scram. All of you scram as well. For an extraordinary figure like Ben Xiao, even your domain lord can be intimidated to death in the blink of an eye. As for you guys, you're still not up to the stage. Wang Kai waved his hand and said with an impatient expression, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd stage Heavenly Emperor realm." Buzz. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's cultivation aura once again rose by a level. Such a situation also shocked Mu Sanyang and Lu Yijian, causing their hearts to violently jump. Especially Lu Yijian, he no longer had the slightest bit of resentment, and even had the mentality of being lucky. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Yes, thank you, Senior, for not killing me. Junior will take his leave. Immediately after, the 10 cultivators from the Domain Lord City wiped the cold sweat from their foreheads, turned around, and left dejectedly. Young Master Kai, are we just going to let it go like this? Before Mu Sanyang could finish, she was directly interrupted by Wang Kai's raised eyebrows. There are no ifs. With Ben Xiao here, even if the Palace Master of the 9 Heavens Palace comes, he won't be able to do anything to Ben Xiao. Or rather, he will be polite to Ben Xiao. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a rather proud expression, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th stage Heavenly Emperor realm." Swoosh. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes were immediately stunned. She stared blankly at Wang Kai, and for a moment, she didn't know what to say. However, the sudden increase in cultivation made Mu Sanyang even more ecstatic. If this increase continued, wouldn't she be able to reach the heavenly reversal realm? Or even higher? Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang felt as if she had been injected with chicken blood, and her heart was secretly filled with excitement. Where's Fengyang Village? Bring Ben Xiao there. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled playfully. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's face froze, and even her beautiful eyes were filled with fear. She hurriedly shook her head and said in a low voice, "No, young Master Kai, with that demon's current cultivation, even Sanyang is no match for him. If you anger him, you're doomed to die." Swoosh. What? Even you're no match for him? What level is that Zhang Hu at? Wang Kai's expression abruptly changed when he heard this. Even his tone could not help but become a little more serious. Originally, he thought that even if Zhang Hu had turned into a demon, he wouldn't be that strong. After all, he was originally just a mortal. No matter how strong he was, how strong could he be after 100 years? Very strong. He has reached the heavenly god realm. He has ascended to the position of a demon god. Mu Sanyang said with a very serious expression. As she spoke, her delicate body trembled slightly, as if she had thought of something terrible. Such a situation caused Wang Kai to be stunned. The heavenly god realm? The realm above the heavenly reversal realm? Lower 3 heavens, heavenly soldier, heavenly general, heavenly origin. Middle 3 heavens, heavenly king, heavenly monarch, heavenly emperor. Upper 3 heavens, heavenly reversal realm, heavenly god realm. Wang Kai furrowed his brows and asked with a puzzled look in his eyes, "Even if a mortal has turned into a demon, how did he reach the heavenly god realm in just 100 years? Although Ben Xiao has only cultivated for a few days to reach his current level, he is still not bad. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 100 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th level of the Heavenly Emperor realm. Mu Sanyang pursed her lips and said, actually, the reason he was able to reach the Celestial God realm was because he swallowed the corpse of a supreme demon. That supreme demon was the first lord of the Yellow Springs underworld. Swallowed the corpse of a supreme demon? Wang Kai was surprised when he heard this. He secretly thought that Zhang Hu's luck was not bad. He was originally immortal, but he was able to swallow the corpse of a supreme demon and become a peerless powerhouse. Chapter 705. Damn it, I can't believe that Ben Shao killed the first demon sovereign back then. Now, a mere mortal has taken advantage of him. How sad. Wang Kai frowned and shook his head as he sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th level Heavenly Emperor realm. Buzz. Suddenly, as soon as Wang Kai's voice fell, the aura of a 5th level Heavenly Emperor actually rose again, directly stabilizing at the 6th level Heavenly Emperor level. Mu Sanyang was deeply shocked by such a situation. She stared at Wang Kai with her beautiful eyes. She felt that Wang Kai was unfathomable. Even so, Mu Sanyang didn't believe Wang Kai's nonsense. Killing the supreme demon of the first generation? She didn't care about that at all. He was only in his 20s after cultivating for so long. The first demon sovereign was a figure from hundreds of thousands of years ago. The two could not be mentioned in the same breath. Young Master Kai, do you really want to go? If you go, it's better to invite the senior monk back. Mu Sanyang frowned and said worriedly. Such a situation left Wang Kai rather speechless. For a moment, he was somewhat surprised. What exactly had this guy encountered? Why was she so afraid? Huaner, have you been to Fengyang village? And he had seen that mortal Zhang who had turned into a demon? Were you beaten up? Humiliated? Damn it, have you been defiled? Towards the end, Wang Kai's words made Mu Sanyang blush even more. She glared at him with eyes full of blame. I have indeed been to Fengyang village once, but I was just passing by. The demon Shi, there was like a place filled with thunder. Zhang, who had been guarding the entrance of the village. Mu Sanyang paused and pursed her pale lips. She continued. His eyes were empty and there was no light in them. But when he looked at us, all of us were bewitched and became his food. Became Zhang Hu's food? Were they eaten? And it was just a glance? F***CK. Do you have to be so awesome? Even a single glance was so powerful. Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He couldn't help but touch his nose and asked in surprise, Then how did you escape? Why didn't he turn to a demon? He doesn't seem to like attacking women. I wasn't attacked at all. Mu Sanyang frowned. Her eyes were filled with doubt. However, there was still lingering fear in his heart. He didn't like to lay his hands on women. F***CK. Could it be that he's a Lu Xiaohui? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and scolded in an annoyed tone. Bastard. You don't even look like a demon after becoming a demon. This is simply a disgrace to the face of the first Demon Supreme. Back in the day, Ben Shao fought against the first Demon Supreme. Although he only exchanged 3 moves with Ben Shao, those 3 moves fully displayed the demeanor of the Demon Supreme. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to host for successfully breaking through to the 7th stage Heavenly Emperor realm. Buzz. As Wang Kai's aura rose again, Mu Sanyang, who was beside him, had already noticed something strange. Why did Wang Kai's cultivation level rise by a level when he bragged? Wasn't this too strange? Or was he purposely showing off like this? Young Lord Kai, compared to Zhang Hu, Sanyang is more interested in you. You can raise your cultivation by 1 realm just by bragging. I wonder what level young Lord Kai's true cultivation is at. Mu Sanyang frowned and looked at Wang Kai expectantly. Swoosh. However, Wang Kai suddenly waved his arm and hugged the unconscious Ya Xinyan. Soon after, he also hugged Mu Sanyang in his embrace. Finally, He casually smiled and said, "True cultivation level? It's not high. It's only a few million times more powerful than the heavenly god realm. It's not worth mentioning. Not worth mentioning." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th stage Heavenly Emperor realm. Buzz. All of a sudden, Wang Kai's aura climbed another level. Seeing this, Mu Sanyang was a little numb. She was shocked enough. "Young Master Kai, can you not reveal your hidden cultivation level when you're bragging? My little heart can't take a shock." Mu Sanyang pursed her red lips and laughed softly. She even patted her huge chest with her jade-like hands. This scene made Wang Kai's eyes spit fire. The throbbing that he had suppressed with great difficulty was reignited again. No, you're wrong. Ben Shao has never bragged. I was just telling the truth. In the land of Tianzhou, there is no one who can fight with Ben Shao. Wang Kai shrugged and reached out his hand. He pressed on Mu Sanyang's buttocks and pinched them hard. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th stage Heavenly Emperor realm. Host, Wang Kai profession, Heavenly Martial Artist realm. 9th stage Heavenly Emperor Dao technique. Heavenly Dao Heavenly Martial skills. Extermination Lightning Fireblade. Golden Wind Kick Divine ability. Luck Deprivation technique. Great Summoning technique equipment. Shape-shifting fan. 3 days pill. Heavenly Saber Heavenly Power. Level 6 Astral Origin points. 0 physique. Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beasts. None bragging points. 21,000 experience. 0200000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at the screen that popped up in his mind. Seeing that his experience points had increased by 1 million, black lines appeared on his forehead. In the past, it would increase by 100,000 or 100,000. Now, it had increased by 1 million. Just a moment ago, he only needed 1 bragging to break through to the next stage. Now, he needed 2. Forget it. For someone like Ben Shao, who can break the heavens and crack the earth, just 2 bragging points should be easy. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai did not hear the notification of a breakthrough. He raised his eyebrows nonchalantly and turned to look at the blushing Mu Sanyang. "Huan, why is your face so red? Are you sick? Don't be afraid. Ben Shao is a master of medicine since he was a child. No illness in the world can escape from Ben Shao's treatment." Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled mockingly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 1st stage Heavenly Emperor realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the next stage. Your heavenly power has increased to level 7. Host, Wang Kai profession, Heavenly Martial Artist stage. 1st Heavenly Martial Artist Dao technique. Heavenly Dao Heavenly Martial technique. Exterminating Thunder Fireblade. Golden Wind Kick equipment. Shape-shifting fan. 3 days pill. Heavenly Saber Heavenly Power. Level 7 Astral Origin points. 0 physique. Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beasts. None bragging points. 23,000 experience. 0200000. Inch. All my divine powers have disappeared. Wang Kai was startled when he saw this. Chapter 706. Host. After reaching the heavenly return state, all divine powers and secret techniques are completely useless. They are not qualified to be recorded in the system, but they can still be used normally. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He did not expect the system to be so pretentious. Every time he reached a new level, it would erase all the useless low-level records. After thinking about it, it did not matter. As long as he could use them normally, that was enough. Young Lord Kai, I don't know much about Phoenix Sun Village, but if there's a demon god like Zhang Hu, then the other hidden powerhouses. Mu Sanyang frowned and said in a serious tone. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. He naturally understood what Mu Sanyang was worried about. She was worried that there might be other powerhouses in Fengyang Village. Zhang Hu alone was already at the heavenly god realm. If there were a few more, for a moment, Wang Kai felt a little embarrassed. There is no need to care about those things. As long as I am here, no matter who comes, they will turn into dust and scatter all over the land of Tianzhou. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang was speechless. She could not stop Wang Kai from going. She could only bite her red lips and smile. Since young Master Kai is so brave, Mu Sanyang will not let you go alone. It will be hard for you not to go. Without you leading the way, how will Ben Shao find Fengyang Village? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and smiled mockingly. Seeing Wang Kai's confident look, Mu Sanyang could only smile bitterly. Lady Boss, the territorial lord's envoy, and his followers have left Windflower City. Should we whoosh? Suddenly, an eerie voice entered his ears. There was no one around. Seeing this, Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. He couldn't help but rub his nose and say with amusement, "What? Do you want to silence me?" Huan, Ben Shao advises you to forget it. Their lives were spared by Ben Shao's benevolence. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the second stage of the Heavenly Return Realm. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai was pleasantly surprised. The Heavenly Reversal Realm was a realm that he should have been unable to reach. But now, he could reach it with just one hand. If Wang Kai hadn't dissipated his aura, Mu Sanyang would have been so scared that her jaw would have dropped. Listen to young Master Kai. Let them return to the domain Lord City safely. Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes blinked slightly. She waved her hand carelessly. Yes. Whoosh. As the voice dissipated, Wang Kai was rather surprised that he was unable to discover his whereabouts just now. This could only prove that the hidden expert was definitely stronger than him. In fact, he was not even in the Heavenly Reversal Realm. Your romantic floor has hidden quite a number of experts. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with an inexplicable smile. Mu Sanyang didn't try to hide it. She chuckled and nodded. That's right. If I'm only in the Heavenly Reversal Realm, no one in the 6th domain would dare to provoke me. Oh, then how many experts are there? Wang Kai asked in surprise. Clap, clap. Mu Sanyang gently clapped her hands. Immediately, the void around them was torn apart. From it, black-robed and masked cultivators walked out. There were 20 of them, 20 experts who were far stronger than the Heavenly Reversal Realm. Are they really that powerful? Wang Kai was shocked. He didn't expect Mu Sanyang to casually clap her hands, and so many experts would appear. No, they're only at the peak of the Heavenly Reversal Realm. They have not surpassed the Heavenly Reversal Realm. They're still in the Heavenly Reversal Realm. Mu Sanyang covered her face and chuckled. Heavenly Reversal Realm? They were still in the Heavenly Reversal Realm? Then why did it feel like they were above the Heavenly Reversal Realm? For a moment, Wang Kai furrowed his brows. His face was full of doubts. He didn't need to pay attention to the process of cultivation. He only needed to brag about each realm. Naturally, he didn't know about the Heavenly Reversal Realm. Young Master Kai is joking again. With young Master Kai's status and cultivation, how could you not know about the mysteries of the Heavenly Reversal Realm? This time, I'll bring them to Phoenix Sun Village with young Master Kai. Mu Sanyang shook her head and laughed. She thought Wang Kai was joking. However, she didn't know that Wang Kai really didn't know anything about it. Now that Mu Sanyang laughed it off, Wang Kai was speechless. Huan, Ben Shao knows, but why do you look like you don't know? Otherwise, why can't you answer Ben Shao's question? Although Ben Shao is knowledgeable, there are some things that only count if you explain it yourself. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled mysteriously. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Amu Sanyang was stunned. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. Looking at Wang Kai's appearance and his status, it was impossible that he didn't know about the mysteries of the heavenly reversal realm. But he still asked her to explain it. Why did it feel so strange? Huan, sometimes you need to be obedient. If Bin Xiao asks, you have to answer. If Bin Xiao doesn't want to hear, you have to bear with it and not say it. Do you know that in the Empyrean Palace, even the palace master treats Bin Xiao like this? Wang Kai said with his hands behind his back. He was reminiscing. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the third grade heavenly reversal realm. Mu Sanyang pursed her red lips. She wasn't sure if Wang Kai was telling the truth, but she still nodded and smiled. Heavenly reversal is a gate in the heavenly reversal realm. It belongs to the level between the heavenly reversal realm and the heavenly reversal realm. Only cultivators who have died once can successfully surpass the heavenly reversal realm. Above the heavenly reversal realm, it didn't completely surpass the heavenly reversal realm. It was called heavenly reversal realm. You have to die once in order to successfully return to the heavenly reversal realm. Wang Kai's face darkened. It wasn't that he hadn't experienced the taste of death. Although he was immortal and could be reborn endlessly, it was better not to experience that feeling. You have to die once at the peak of the heavenly reversal realm or at the heavenly reversal realm for it to count. Wang Kai frowned and asked, speechless. Whoosh. In response, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes were stunned. She looked at Wang Kai strangely and asked, Young Master Kai, what do you mean? Don't tell me, you've died once? Ben Xiao didn't die once. He died thousands of times. Blame it on the fact that no one in this world can kill Ben Xiao. Sometimes the taste of being invincible is lonely. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Chapter 707. He had died thousands of times. No one else could boast to such an extent. The 20 powerhouses around them looked at him with disdain. They could not figure out what Mu Sanyang saw in him. Was it just the position in the Empyrean Palace? Was it just temporary? Well, young Master Kai, only those who have reached the state of reversal of heaven and experienced death and rebirth can be counted. Those who died before don't count. Mu Sanyang explained helplessly. She could tell that Wang Kai was boasting again, but she could not expose him. She could only go along with what he said. But it was hard for Mu Sanyang to bear with this. Haha, this young master naturally knows about this matter. Just now I was merely testing you. Why must you answer so seriously? Do you really think Ben Xiao doesn't know? Aren't you looking down on this young master's talent too much? Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the fourth stage of heavenly reversal. Mu Sanyang was speechless. She could not keep up with Wang Kai's thoughts. How long had it been? But he was already dizzy from all the commotion. If Wang Kai continued to mess with him like this, who knew what would happen? With that in mind, Mu Sanyang reached out her hand and wrapped it around Wang Kai's arm. Let's go, shall we? To Fengyang village. Patter. However, Wang Kai took out his fan and waved it gently. He pushed Mu Sanyang away and said, Men and women should not touch each other. It's better to keep some distance. Although a handsome man like Ben Xiao is loved by all women, Ben Xiao is still a man. Congratulations to the host for successfully boasting. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Men and women should not touch each other. F***CK. Suddenly, Mu Sanyang cursed. Even she couldn't keep her calm at this moment. She thought to herself, it's fine if you're just bragging, but men and women shouldn't touch each other. Is this something you can say? Does it have anything to do with you, Wang Kai? As a woman, how can you casually spit out vulgarities? Can't you learn from Ben Xiao and be humble and civilized? Wang Kai shrugged and said with a look of disdain, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th stage heavenly return realm. Humility. How generous. Civilization." Mu Sanyang's forehead was filled with black lines. Her beautiful eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. She opened her red lips, but no words came out. Then, he looked at the 20 cultivators in the surroundings. Their bodies had already stiffened. They were all shocked by how shameless Wang Kai was. There's actually such an awesome person in this world. Everyone thought to themselves. Then let's go. Young Master Kai, hee. Mu Sanyang covered her face and laughed awkwardly. Seeing this, Wang Kai frowned. Hearing Mu Sanyang's laughter that sounded like she had sprained her waist, he felt a chill in his heart. He immediately reached out and slapped her on the buttocks. Can't you be more normal? Ben Xiao is such a gentleman. He's the role model of Tianzhou who greets everyone with a smile. How can he have such an insolent lover like you? Wang Kai frowned and waved his hand disdainfully. It was as if he was chasing away a fly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Insolent. A gentleman. Greeting everyone with a smile. Why haven't I seen this before? It's only when you see a beautiful woman, right? Mu Sanyang's red lips moved and she gritted her teeth. In her heart, she even wanted to strangle Wang Kai. Young Master Kai, let's go, shall we? If we're late, and something happens to Saintess Yunxi of the Sky-Reaching Sect, Mu Sanyang said hurriedly. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai's eyes widened and he said with a shocked expression, Damn it, it's all your fault. You had to disturb Ben Xiao's thoughts. I forgot the important thing. Why aren't we going? Damn it. If something happens to Ben Xiao's little Cece, the child in her belly, let's go. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 6th stage of heavenly reversal. The child in her belly? When did Saintess Yunxi have child? When she first came to the romantic floor, she was still a virgin. Okay? Also, didn't he just say that he wanted to be a gentleman and be civilized? Why now? Looking at Wang Kai's back, Mu Sanyang shook her head and laughed. She suddenly felt that he was very interesting. This kind of person had a strange personality and was hard to figure out. However, 9 out of 10 people who could achieve great things were like this. All of you follow in the dark. Remember, don't do anything unless you have no other choice. Don't provoke the devil god. Mu Sanyang frowned and warned in a deep voice. Yes, Buzz. As the lady boss quickly followed Wang Kai, the 20 experts also disappeared into the void one by one. Outside the Windflower City, Wang Kai stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the vast land. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. Under Mu Sanyang's puzzled gaze, he said softly, Huaner, are we going to walk there? Walk? Mu Sanyang was stunned. She pointed to the void and said softly, We are cultivators. How can we walk? Of course, we have to walk on air. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed. Forget about it. Ben Xiao has caught a cold recently. It's not good for him to use his cultivation. We have to think of another way to prevent Ben Xiao's body from getting hurt. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Caught a cold? He even compared himself to a member of the royal family. Mu Sanyang gritted her teeth. She couldn't wait to part ways with Wang Kai. However, when she thought about the matter of the territorial lord, she could only endure it. Young Master Kai, didn't you just say that you were worried about the child in Saintess Yunxi's belly and wanted to rush to Fengyang village as soon as possible? Also, even if we find a carriage now, we won't be able to catch up with Saintess Yunxi. Mu Sanyang had no choice but to explain patiently. That makes sense. We should get to Fengyang village as soon as possible. Whatever. For the sake of Xiaoxi's safety, Bin Xiao can only sleep in the open. It's a pity that Bin Xiao's body is so weak. I wonder how many beauties are crying and worrying about him. Wang Kai nodded and sighed sadly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th realm of Sky Reversal. Then why did you stop and ask for a carriage? Mu Sanyang's face froze. Looking at Wang Kai's back, she suddenly felt that she couldn't keep up with the changes in Tianzhou's cultivators. She didn't know that Wang Kai was just bragging. Chapter 708. Fengyang Village. Before Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang could get close to the village, they were shocked by the dark clouds and the dark demonic qi that shrouded it. The entire village was like hell for the demonic clan. Dense demonic qi permeated the air, and everything within it was faintly discernible. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the sky from time to time, causing the houses and other buildings to be set ablaze. Through the lightning and flames, one could see the current state of the village. It was unrecognizable. It looked like it had been trampled on. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a ghost village. Didn't you say that Zhang who has been standing at the entrance of the village? Wang Kai stood in the air with his hands behind his back. He looked at the eerie village and felt a chill in his heart. It was not fear, but an inexplicable feeling. He felt goosebumps all over his body. Maybe Saintess Yunqi's arrival caused Zhang Hu to... Mu Sanyang frowned and said in a serious tone, "Swoosh." Upon hearing this, Wang Kai was stunned. His eyes narrowed as he scanned the Fengyang village. He immediately channeled his spiritual sense into the village. Bang! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. However, before his divine sense could reach the entrance of the village, it was forcefully pushed back by the dense demonic qi. Even Wang Kai's body was forced back several steps in the air. Young Master Kai, don't test it. The demonic qi here was accumulated by Zhang, who when he was cultivating. Its power is not inferior to Zhang Hu's cultivation, Mu Sanyang said with a serious expression. Wang Kaigang had already experienced this before. With his current cultivation, even the demonic aura that Zhang Hu had accumulated was unable to penetrate his body. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the heavenly god realm was. Fortunately, I have the 3 days untoppling pill. No elite can do anything to Ben Xiao. They can't even harm a single hair on his body. What is there for Ben Xiao to be afraid of? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and laughed in his heart. Mu Sanyang looked at Wang Kai's nonchalant expression and was speechless. If even the demonic qi was no match for him, how could he be a match for Zhang Hu? Where did Wang Kai's confidence come from? Could it be that the expert protecting him is stronger than Zhang Hu? Mu Sanyang thought to herself. Since Wang Kai was a member of the Nine Heavens Palace, the heavenly god realm was nothing much. Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang's courage grew a little. At least, she didn't have to worry about dying here. If I knew this would happen, I would have brought the goddess of the sky-reaching cult with me. With her sky-reaching Tao, she could have temporarily removed these demonic barriers. Mu Sanyang shook her head and smiled. Previously, because he did not want to come here, he had been in a state of anxiety. Now that he was able to relax, he finally remembered the prowess of the Taoist techniques of the sky-reaching church. Hearing this, Wang Kai's brows suddenly twisted, and he asked with a surprised expression, "The Heavenly Way technique can get rid of the demonic qi here? How do you know?" "Young Master Kai, you don't know. A long time ago, there was an outstanding disciple of the sky-reaching cult who created a demonic technique. But in the end, he was discovered by the experts of the sky-reaching cult and was expelled. Before Mu Sanyang could finish, Wang Kai waved his hand and interrupted her. Ben Xiao has heard of this before. But what I heard was that the Heavenly Way technique could work together with the demonic technique created by the disciple. I have never heard of it being able to suppress the demonic qi. No, The Heavenly Way technique is famous in Tianzhou. It is a righteous technique. As the saying goes, good and evil cannot coexist. That disciple was able to create a demonic technique that could work together with the Heavenly Way technique. But if the Heavenly Way technique is used on the righteous path, it will be the natural enemy of all demonic techniques. Mu Sanyang said in a serious tone. Wang Kai nodded slightly. He couldn't help but stretch out his finger and gently lift Mu Sanyang's chin. He said with a teasing smile, "Then why did you keep Xia Xinyan trapped in the inn? Why didn't you bring her along? Is it because you are so infatuated with Ben Xiao that you want to spend some time alone with Ben Xiao?" Sigh. Men attract too much attention. It is indeed a headache. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Mu Sanyang was speechless. The goddess of the Heavenly Way sect, Xia Xinyan, was still in a coma. How could she bring her here? What's more, Xia Xinyan's threat had made Mu Sanyang very unhappy. Now, she could only give Xia Xinyan face and not kill her. What did this have to do with infatuation? She had to admit that Wang Kai was indeed the only one in Tianzhou who could be as narcissistic as he was. Young Master Kai, are we going to enter directly? If so, let's walk. Mu Sanyang's face was full of caution as she spoke. As she spoke, she had already descended from the sky. Wang Kai was quite surprised by this, but he also floated down like Mu Sanyang. The last time you were attacked, was it because someone stepped into the air? Wang Kai frowned and asked curiously. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang nodded gently and said cautiously, Young Lord Kai is right. The last time we passed by here, many cultivators secretly followed us. Because they were hiding in the void, they angered Zhang Hu, so swoosh, swoosh. At the same time, the void was torn apart. 20 experts in the heaven reversal stage floated down from the sky. However, they did not approach the entrance of the village. Instead, they watched from afar. Seeing this, Wang Kai could not help but touch his nose. Since Zhang Hu was in the heavenly god realm, no matter how strong these experts were, they had not stepped into the heavenly god realm. It was useless for them to come over. Young Master Kai, if the 20 of them join forces, they can temporarily hold a stalemate with a lower heavenly god realm expert for 100 breaths. If something happens, we must retreat quickly. Mu Sanyang reminded seriously. If it were not for the fact that they still needed to rely on Wang Kai, they would not have come here. However, since they were here, they had to make sure nothing went wrong. Even though Mu Sanyang had brought 20 Heaven's Return experts with her, she still wasn't confident. But at least it was better than nothing. The 20 of them together could hold a lower heavenly god realm expert for 100 breaths. Wang Kai frowned when he heard this. He glanced at the 20 cultivators in surprise. He couldn't help but rub his nose and said casually, There's no need to do this. This young master has already said that a mere divine realm cultivator is nothing. If this young master wants to kill him, he only needs to think about it. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 8th level heavenly reversal stage. As soon as these words came out, the 20 cultivators also looked at each other. In the end, they all thought that Wang Kai was bragging and automatically ignored him. He had just used his divine thought and could not even penetrate the demon Qi. How could he defeat Zhang Hu, who was in the heavenly god realm? Even Mu Sanyang did not believe it. Yesterday, I made a mistake and just broke through to the 8th level heavenly reversal stage. Tomorrow, I will start to update slowly. Thank you for your patience and patience. Chapter 709. Then are we going in like this? Mu Sanyang asked awkwardly, especially when she looked at the eerie Fengyang village. She couldn't help but recall the scenes from before. Last time, if Zhang Hu hadn't been merciless, she wouldn't have been able to survive until now. Let's go in. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled in a rather casual manner. Soon after, he placed his hands behind his back and walked in an extremely leisurely manner. Enter the village. Mu Sanyang's heart skipped a beat. She gritted her teeth. She really didn't want to go in. But if she didn't, and something happened to Wang Kai, wouldn't it be troublesome if the domain leader was angry? Even if the governor was afraid of the Empyrean Palace and didn't dare to do anything, if the Empyrean Palace found out that something happened to Wang Kai and her, wouldn't it be even more terrifying than the governor? Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang could only turn her hand and take out a long sword. Her expression was full of caution as she followed behind. Young Master Kai, we must be careful. We can't see clearly here, and the demonic chi is everywhere. Danger is at hand. Ah! Clang! Suddenly, Mu Sanyang cried out in shock. The long sword in her hand fell to the ground. Why are you being so suspicious? Isn't it just a village occupied by a demon? How can it be so? F***CK. Is there a horror movie in this world? Wang Kai was halfway through his sentence when he followed Mu Sanyang's gaze and shut his mouth in shock. A woman's corpse was hanging on the door of a house. Her whole body was wrapped in white cloth, and her long black hair hung down. As the demonic chi billowed, the corpse swayed slightly. What are you afraid of? Isn't it just a woman's corpse? As a cultivator, not to mention seeing countless corpses, even if you have personally killed them, you can't even count the number of corpses. What is there to be surprised about? Wang Kai took a deep breath and pretended to be unconcerned. Although he said that the sight of a woman's corpse, wrapped in white cloth, hanging up like a ghost in a horror movie, was a little creepy. No, that's not it. Look at her. She's looking up at us. Suddenly, Mu Sanyang shrieked, her delicate body trembling uncontrollably. Whoosh! Upon hearing this, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. However, when he looked at the woman's corpse again, nothing happened. How could she raise her head? Wang, patter. Wang Kai flipped his hand and picked up the sword from the ground. He threw it to Mu Sanyang and said with a speechless expression, Huaner, can't you act like a strong woman? As the saying goes, all ghosts are created according to people's thoughts. A straight foot is not afraid of a crooked shadow. You could just treat him as a fake person. Fake person? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes went blank. She swallowed a mouthful of saliva and brandished her long sword. Clenching her teeth, she slashed out. Whoosh! As the sword aura shot forth, it slashed onto the woman's body. However, with a ding-dang sound, the woman's body was completely unharmed. Instead, the sword aura dissipated into nothingness. Seeing this, Wang Kai was shocked. No matter how hard a dead body was, it would not be able to withstand Mu Sanyang's attack. No matter what, Mu Sanyang was a powerhouse at the peak of the Divine Circle realm. The power of her sword was unquestionable. She definitely has a problem. She's not a fake. It's real. She did raise her head and look at me. Mu Sanyang pursed her red lips and said with certainty, Whoosh! Hearing this, Wang Kai's pupils shrank slightly. He could not help but take a step forward. He walked up to the woman's corpse and turned to look at the pale face hidden in her hair. He asked indifferently, Are you a ghost or a human? How old are you? Did you get raped and then killed? Or did you get killed and then become stronger? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's face suddenly froze. She never thought that Wang Kai would still be able to joke at this time. Kakik! Suddenly, the woman's corpse swayed a few times. Immediately, her lowered head began to stiffly lift up, emitting a series of bone-grinding sounds. Okay, Binshao knows. You were raped and then killed. Otherwise, you wouldn't be looking at me with such resentful eyes. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed, pretending to be sad. Bang! Bastard! I am a 9th ghost guard under the devil god. I have turned into an evil ghost and specialize in the devil path. It's all because of this ghost guard's own choice. How can I be strong and killed? In an instant, that woman shouted sternly. Following that, the rope around her neck snapped. Whoosh! Seeing this, Wang Kai couldn't help but take a few steps back. He quickly took out his folding fan and kept waving it. Frowning, he said with disdain, Why are you so agitated? Binshao was just joking with you. Whether you were raped or killed, It has nothing to do with Ben Shao. Also, stay away from Ben Shao. How many days has it been since you last took a bath? Why are you so smelly? Young Master Kai, now is not the time for jokes. Seeing this, Mu Sanyang was furious. Immediately, she held her long sword horizontally and stood beside Wang Kai to protect him. Her tone was quite serious. What kind of situation is this? How can he still be in a mood to tease me? Just by looking at the 9th Ghost Guard and his reputation as the Devil God subordinate, she knew that he was not to be trifled with. You dare to say that this Ghost Guard stinks? Fine. Today, this Ghost Guard will tear your flesh to shreds and have a taste of how fragrant you are. Give me your life. Whoosh! Suddenly, the 9th Ghost Guard let out a fierce cry, and his body flew parallel to the sky, waving his white palms like claws towards Wang Kai. Buzz! Buzz! However, just as the 9th Ghost Guard flew close to Wang Kai, his body suddenly stopped. The sharp claws pierced through his white palm and stopped just before Wang Kai's neck. Consider yourself lucky. Get lost. Today, the Devil God is very happy, so he won't kill anymore. Whoosh! After the 9th Ghost Guard finished speaking, his body directly disappeared into the dense demonic chi, disappearing without a trace. Don't go. Ben Shao wants to see how it feels to be caught by a female ghost. Also, Ben Shao is ready to fight back. This is so boring. Seeing this, Wang Kai suddenly twisted his eyebrows and hurriedly shouted to the surroundings. His palm was still in a clenching position. Mu Sanyang, who was watching from the side, was speechless. Needless to say, if the 9th Ghost Guard did not stop attacking, Wang Kai would have used his devil claw to attack a certain part of the female ghost body. Mu Sanyang was speechless. In such a dangerous situation, Wang Kai was probably the only one who could play around like this. Chapter 710. Young Master Kai, can you be a little more serious? We didn't come here to have fun. Moreover, that woman is a ghost who has died before. Her cultivation is not much lower than mine. Mu Sanyang's eyes were filled with anger as she spoke. A ghost who has died before? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at her in confusion. He then looked at the place where the 9th Ghost Guard had disappeared and asked, "What do you mean? A ghost who has died before? Isn't she still alive and well?" As for the stench that she had mentioned earlier, it was all made up by Wang Kai on purpose. Rather than a stench, it was more like a fragrance. One could not tell that she was a person who had died before. There was not much difference between her and a normal person. Wang Kai, who had seen many horror movies in his previous life, did not pay much attention to the way the 9th Ghost Guard was dressed. He thought that she had purposely made up the appearance of a scary corpse. The reversal realm. If you succeed in reversing the heavens and being reborn, you can reach the divine realm. If you fail, you will truly die. Mu Sanyang said in a heavy tone. She had failed in reversing the heavens. She was really dead. Since she is dead, why is she still? Wang Kai touched his nose. For a moment, he felt a little strange. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang shook her head helplessly. She looked around cautiously and said in a low voice, "Don't forget that there are still ghosts in this world. Moreover, she is a ghost, but she has cultivated the demonic path. Although her cultivation is only at the 9th grade of the heavenly circle, her combat strength is unfathomable." Ghost? Ghost cultivator? Wang Kai suddenly understood. When he was in the 8 Barons, he had seen many ghost cultivators. He did not expect that there would be one in Tianzhou. Moreover, it was a ghost cultivator who had cultivated the demonic path. It was indeed strange. 9th grade of the heavenly circle, and you are at the peak of the 9th grade of the heavenly circle. Although you're in the same realm, your combat strength is not on the same level. In that case, what are you afraid of? Let's just do it. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual expression. Hiss. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang took a deep breath and glared at Wang Kai, her eyes full of grievance and regret. If she had the chance to choose again, she would rather continue to live under the oppression of the domain Lord's envoy than come here with Wang Kai to die. Such a personality was simply courting death. Young Lord Kai, although Sanyang is at the peak of the ninth grade of the heavenly revolving realm, a level higher than the ninth Ghost Guard, Sanyang does not have absolute confidence that she can defeat her. Also, she is only the ninth Ghost Guard. Who knows if there was an eighth or seventh person before her? Mu Sanyang gritted her teeth and explained helplessly. However, Wang Kai did not pay much attention to Mu Sanyang's words. In Wang Kai's opinion, since they had come here, encountering any danger wasn't because they were unlucky, but because it was inevitable. No matter who it was, they would have to meet each other. Since that was the case, why should he care? Would he be able to destroy Fengyang village and snatch Yinshi back just because he cared? Obviously, that was impossible. Everyone in Fengyang village. Cough cough, people my ass. All the ghosts in Fengyang village, listen up. Bin Xiao is the one who created the heavens and earth, created the Milky Way, crushed the stars with one hand, and swept away the chaos with one kick. Wang Kai is the same. Wang Kai shrugged and shouted loudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Young Lord Kai, why are you still bragging at a time like this? Mu Sanyang was speechless. If she could, she wanted to tear Wang Kai's mouth apart so that she wouldn't be annoyed by his words. What the hell do you know? In the future, remember, when a man is bragging, as a woman, you should cheer him on from the side. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and glared at Mu Sanyang as if saying, You've never seen the world. Mu Sanyang was even more helpless. In the end, she could only wave her hand and laugh coquettishly. Young Lord Kai is mighty. Young Lord Kai is handsome. Young Lord Kai is awesome. I love it. This scene caused the corners of Wang Kai's mouth to twitch as black lines appeared on his forehead. Especially Mu Sanyang's forced smile and her voice, which was almost breaking, made Wang Kai's face as dark as ink. You have no taste at all. So vulgar. Wang Kai moved his lips and said with disdain. Mu Sanyang's pretty face suddenly turned red. It was already embarrassing enough for her to shout out those words. She didn't expect to be scolded by Wang Kai. That look of disdain on his face made her want to go crazy. Cough, cough. Now you know who Bin Xiao is, right? If you do, don't move. If you do, Bin Xiao can kill you with just a shake of his ass. Well, you can all come out now. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather arrogant expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th level Heavenly Realm. Host, Wang Kai class, Heavenly Warrior Realm. 9th level Heavenly Realm Path Technique. Heavenly Path Heavenly Martial Technique. Destructive Lightning Fire Blade. Golden Wind Kick Equipment. Shape-Shifting Fan. Heavenly Blade Heavenly Power. Level 7 Astral Origin Points. 0 Physique. Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beasts. None bragging points. 39,000 experience. 03000000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at it and activated his mind to close it. The experience points required to break through to the next level had increased by 1,000,000. Wang Kai had already expected it, so he didn't care. He just wanted to brag a little more. Young Master Kai, you told him not to move, and now you're telling him to come out. What are you trying to do? Mu Sanyang pursed her red lips, her beautiful eyes filled with despair. Cooperating with a guy like Wang Kai who didn't care about his own life was a big mistake in life. What do you mean by not moving? Bin Xiao was just bragging. Besides, if Bin Xiao told him to move, he had to move. If he didn't, would he dare to move? If he disobeyed, the male ghost would be beaten to death, and the female ghost would be played with first. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Mu Sanyang, who originally thought that Wang Kai Hui would say that the female ghost would also be beaten to death, immediately understood when she heard this. Those who believe you must be starving. Mu Sanyang snorted disdainfully. Kid, the demon god is in a good mood today, so he's giving you a way out. As a person, you must know when to back down. Don't be so shameless. Get out of here now. Swoosh. Suddenly, an extremely gloomy voice rang out, and Mu Sanyang was immediately on guard. Wang Kai frowned, his face darkened, and the veins on his forehead bulged. Who are you? Get the 9th Ghost Guard to come out and entertain Ben Shao. Otherwise, F***CK your grandpa. With the words you just said, you've already died 10,000 times. Do you understand? Wang Kai scolded with an ugly expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Chapter 711. Demon God, 8th Ghost Guard. Baju, request to kill this monster. Buzz. Baju, who claimed to be the 8th Ghost Guard, coldly shouted. It caused the demonic aura in the village to roll and engulf, becoming even denser. At the same time, Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang sensed the 8th Ghost Guard's cultivation. Peak level 9, celestial body. He was stronger than the 9th Ghost Guard and was at the same level as Mu Sanyang. However, Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang knew that even though they were at the same level, their combat strength was different. Damn you. Were you an opera singer when you were alive? Ayaya, why don't you cry? If you want to fight, then hurry up and come out. Let this young master see what kind of bird you are. But you better think carefully. If you are incomparably ugly, this young master will definitely beat you until you fly into the sky and enter the earth. Can't stop. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and said with a playful smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to level 1 Divine Realm. Congratulations to host for successfully breaking through to the next realm. Heavenly power has been raised to the 8th level. Host, Wang Kai occupation, Heavenly Martial Artist level, Level 1 Divine Realm Doctrine Art, Path to Heaven Heavenly Martial Skills, Exterminating Thunder Fireblade, Golden Wind Kick Equipment, Shape-Shifting Fan, Sky-Defending Blade Heavenly Power, Level 8 Astral Origin Points, 0 Physique, Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beasts, None Bragging Points, 42,000 Experience, 030000000 Swoosh. Wang Kai was stunned when he heard the notification. Then he was overjoyed. He thought that he would have to go through a life-and-death situation like other martial artists before he could step into the Divine Realm. But now, he had broken through to the Divine Realm without any bottleneck. Demon God, Baju, request to kill this monster. The 8th Ghost Guard's voice came from the depths of the village again. This time, it was much louder than before. One could even hear his heavy breathing. Obviously, he was infuriated by Wang Kai. However, without the demon god's approval, no matter how angry he was, he did not dare to act rashly. This feeling is really awesome. It's awesome. Wang Kai stretched his neck, emitting a series of cracking sounds. His expression of enjoyment was truly ecstatic. At this moment, Wang Kai was already immersed in the immense might of the heavenly god realm. Mu Sanyang, who was watching from the side, fell into a daze. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't figure it out. Wasn't it just insulting a ghost guard? Was there need to be so comfortable? Ah, damn you. Damn you. You deserve to die. Demon God. Demon God. Demon. Ah, bang. Wah. Suddenly, the 8th Ghost Guard's furious roar came to an abrupt stop. Immediately, the sound of something being thrown was heard. Following that, the 8th Ghost Guard coughed out blood. What are you shouting for? Are you going to behave now? The demon god was in a good mood. Now that you've messed with him, I'm afraid he's going to be angry. I wish you a quick death so that I can become the 8th Ghost Guard. At the same time, the familiar voice of the 9th Ghost Guard rang out. However, his words made the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitch. Mu Sanyang could not help but laugh. I didn't expect the Ghost Guards of Fengyang Village to be so interesting. Mu Sanyang covered her face and laughed. Interesting? How is it interesting? Do you know who injured the 8th Ghost Guard just now? Whoosh. Suddenly, Wang Kai's gaze froze. The flirtatious look on his face disappeared. It was replaced by a solemn expression. Who else could it be? It's the ninth ghost guard. Could it be? Could it be? Mu Sanyang's face turned pale. Sometimes, a woman's reaction is really slow. Wang Kai shook his head speechlessly. He turned around and took out the Heavenbreaker blade. He held it in front of his chest and said coldly, "Brother Zhang Hu, come out and compete with Ben Shao. To prevent others from saying that Ben Shao is bullying the weak, I'll give you cough cough, I'll give you 300 moves. Oh, 3,000 is fine too. If you're not satisfied, 30,000. Sigh, in the end, the gap between us is just too big. You're too weak." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Old 8, old 9, cripple him and throw him out of Fengyang village. As for that woman, suck her life force. As a deep voice rang out, the surrounding demonic qi dissipated. As a result, Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang were able to see the whole village. None of the buildings were in good condition. Skeletons and corpses were everywhere. The smell of blood and the black smoke of burning flames spread everywhere. It was like a village that had been baptized by war. It was too horrible to look at. Yes, demon god. At the same time, the figures of the 8th and 9th ghost guardians appeared in the distance. They were now less than a kilometer away from Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang. However, it was this kilometer that prevented Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang from discovering their location. Now that the demonic qi had dissipated, everything was clear. TSK, TSK, I didn't expect a mortal like you to be so fair after becoming a demon god. Not bad, not bad. Ben Shao likes it. As a reward, you can give all your women to this young master. This is your honor. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Reward? Honor? Since it's a reward, why did you ask for women? Mu Sanyang bit her red lips and glared at Wang Kai with a reproachful look. Then, she clenched her long sword tightly and swallowed hard. She looked at the 8th and 9th ghost guards warily. Now that things had come to this, there was bound to be a battle. Any worries and scruples were useless. The demon god had been successfully angered by Wang Kai. TSK, TSK, boy, this is not the demon god's fairness. Do you know the real reason why the demonic qi dissipated? The 8th ghost guardian, Baju, sneered. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at him with contempt. He couldn't help but wave his divine blade and said in disgust, "Don't talk nonsense. Look at your appearance. Your whole body is black. You're so tall, but you're skinny. What's even more infuriating is that you can't wash your face before coming out to act pretentious." Whoosh! The moment these words were spoken, it immediately caused the 8th ghost guard to fly into a rage. His face, which had already turned extremely black due to the smoke, was now so black that it was impossible to tell that it was a human face. In particular, his pupils were black. His lips and even his teeth were black. There wasn't a single part of his body that wasn't black. Black ghost, he's right. I, Ruo Shui, don't want to kill him. Demon god, can you reward me with this boy? I just happen to be lacking a servant. The 9th ghost guardian, Ruo Shui, suddenly covered her face and laughed. Although her beautiful eyes were looking at Wang Kai, there was an extremely cruel and fierce look in them. Wang Kai believed that if he fell into her hands, even if he didn't die, he would be tortured to the point where he begged for death. Chapter 712. TSK, TSK. Old 9th, stop daydreaming. Even the fiend celestial ignored you. Moreover, I, Basu, will definitely cripple him. The 9th ghost guard laughed sinisterly. Swoosh! However, the 9th ghost guard, Ruo Shui, laughed disdainfully. Her figure immediately flew up and headed straight for Wang Kai. That's not necessarily true. The demon god only acquiesced, not rejected. Swoosh! Seeing this scene, The eighth ghost guard's eyes darkened. His pitch-black pupils were filled with annoyance as he glanced at Ruo Shui. He then moved his feet and quickly chased after Basu. I'll definitely cripple him. You don't have the qualifications to fight for it. Suddenly, under the pursuit of the eighth ghost guard, Basu, in the blink of an eye, he overtook the ninth ghost guard, Ruo Shui, and directly arrived in front of Wang Kai. Ruo Shui secretly gritted her teeth. Although they were both ghost guards, she was one rank behind Basu. Naturally, her combat strength was not as good as his. At this moment, she could only stop in anger. Even if she wanted to take Wang Kai as her servant, it was too late. In her opinion, even if Wang Kai had some ability, he was definitely not Basu's opponent. Why did you rush over in such a hurry? What's the matter? Could it be that your skin is loose and you want Ben Shao to tighten it for you? Get lost. Buzz. Bang. Wah. In an instant, the eighth ghost guard had just arrived in front of Wang Kai. Before he could stabilize his body and launch an attack, he was suddenly slapped back by Wang Kai's saber. His chest was smashed by the back of the saber. His body was even sent flying for thousands of somersaults. He was almost drawn from the entrance of the village to the end of the village. When the eighth ghost guard stopped, there was not a single part of his body that was intact. Such a situation immediately caused the ninth ghost guard to cover her mouth and exclaim. She could not believe that the eighth ghost guard could not even withstand a single attack. Cough, cough, you cheated plop. The eighth ghost guard, Basu, raised his head miserably. His whole body was twitching nonstop. With a hoarse roar, he fainted. Young Master Kai, your cultivation? Mu Sanyang was also shocked. She had already prepared to defend herself, but before she could do anything, her opponent had been easily defeated by Wang Kai. Moreover, under Wang Kai's attack, Mu Sanyang, who was closest to him, naturally sensed his cultivation. Divine Realm. He was an expert in the Divine Realm. Despite his young age and having cultivated for less than 20 years, he had already reached a level that only cultivators who had cultivated for thousands or even tens of thousands of years could reach. Were the people of the Nine Heavens Palace all so terrifyingly talented? It's your turn now. You can charge over. This young master wants to see how exactly you want this young master to be your slave. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders. His gaze was filled with ridicule as he looked towards the ninth ghost guard, Ruo Shui. Whoosh! Ruo Shui's originally pale face became even paler when she heard this. Even a knife-like sharp, densely white nails on her fingers were so frightened that she hurriedly shrank back. If the eighth ghost guard didn't fight with him, then the one lying on the ground right now. Thinking of this, Ruo Shui immediately rejoiced. However, as a ghost guard under the demonic god of Fengyang village, he could not embarrass himself in his own territory. No matter how strong Wang Kai was, could he be stronger than a demon god? Could he be stronger than the first 7 ghost guardians? Hee, if you obediently let me cripple you, perhaps you can still keep your life. If you don't behave, Ruo Shui was secretly nervous, but on the surface, she pretended to be calm and threatened. Even if he was in Fengyang village, there was no way he would be killed by Wang Kai. However, if he were to suddenly attack and get injured like that centipede, wouldn't he be very unlucky? Therefore, even though Ruo Shui was confident that Wang Kai would not be able to do as he pleased in Fengyang village, she did not dare to provoke Wang Kai for the time being. If you don't behave, what can you do? Will you take off your clothes and dance for Ben Shao? If that's the case, Ben Shao will consider taking you in as a maid. Coincidentally, someone as noble as Ben Shao does indeed need a maid to serve him. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a playful smile, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 2nd level Heavenly God Realm." After hearing the notification, Wang Kai's confidence grew. Since Zhang, who was only a lower Heavenly God, now that he was a 2nd level Heavenly God, there was nothing for him to be afraid of. Moreover, he had the 8th level Heavenly energy. No matter how powerful Zhang who was, what could he do? Since Wang Kai had broken through to the heavenly god realm. The tables had turned. Old 7, Old 6, are you two brothers still going to watch the show? Seeing Wang Kai's disdainful look, Ruo Shui was furious. She was no match for him, so she could only shout for help. Old 6 and Old 7, does that mean that there are 9 ghost guards? Now that I have seen 2 of them, the remaining 7 can come out together to save me the trouble. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and waved the heavenly blade impatiently. Haha, Old 9, without the demon god's orders, we can't help you. That's right. I think that now is the best opportunity. You cripple that brat, absorb that woman's life force, and finally kill the half-dead 8th brother. In this way, won't you successfully advance to the next rank? In the dark, 2 different laughs came out one after another. Between the words, there was a strong sense of ridicule and schadenfreude. In such a situation, the 9th Ghost Guard, Ruosh, secretly gritted her teeth. She glanced around coldly and turned to look at Wang Kai. She said sternly, Ruo Shui is willing to die for the demon god. Swoosh! As soon as her voice fell, Ruo Shui activated a turbulent demonic aura. Her body turned into a black light and attacked Wang Kai in the blink of an eye. If the other ghost guards did not help, Ruo Shui could not do anything. Now, she could only fight with Wang Kai. She secretly prayed that Wang Kai would go easy on her. TSK, a force that is not united at all. No matter how strong it is, what's the use? Patter. Suddenly, Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered. He flipped his palm and grabbed forward. Ruo Shui, who wanted to wave her sharp claws, was grabbed by the neck and hung in the air before she could attack. Tell me, where do you want Ben Shao to hit you? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and laughed in a low voice. No matter how nice the 9th Ghost Guard's words were, Wang Kai could see that she did not want to fight with him. At the same time, she did not want to die. In fact, that was the case. If not for the fact that Wang Kai did not directly kill the 8th Ghost Guard, she would not have rushed forward. Now, what she hoped for was that Wang Kai would be able to knock her out like he did to the 8th Ghost Guard. But in this world, how could there be so many good things? Chapter 713. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd grade heavenly god realm. The ancestor of a shaking head world? What the hell is this? To think that he would be able to brag about everything. Mu Sanyang was speechless. Especially when Wang Kai was not just bragging, he was actually shaking his body and head rhythmically. Mu Sanyang was on the verge of going crazy. She couldn't figure out what kind of man Wang Kai was. Young Master Kai, stop fooling around. Let's talk about how to deal with the 9th Ghost Guard. Are you really going to keep her by your side as a maid? Mu Sanyang's red lips trembled and her pretty face blushed. Watching Wang Kai shaking his head, she could not help but feel shy for him. Clatter. Wang Kai snapped his fingers and turned to look at the blue sky with his hands behind his back. He smiled faintly and said, Of course. You may not know, but such a perfect young master also has a flaw. The flaw is that I love women too much. Well, it's only limited to very beautiful women. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Mu Sanyang agreed with this. She looked at the ghost guards lying on the ground. Except for the 9th Ghost Guard, Ruo Shui, the 7th and 6th Ghost Guards were already dead. Although the 8th Ghost Guard was not completely dead, she was almost dead. Then what should we do now? Mu Sanyang asked in a serious tone. Wang Kai shrugged and took out his folding fan. He held it in front of his chest and waved it gently as he walked deeper into the forest. What else can we do? Since we are already here, how can we give up before we find Saintess Yunchi? As for those demon god ghost guards, it's not that this young master is looking down on them, but they're simply too weak. They can't even compare to this young master when I was a child. Wang Kai curled his lips and said with a disdainful expression, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. You as a child? No matter how strong he was, how strong could a child be? Mu Sanyang chose to ignore him. Now, she realized that not only was Wang Kai's cultivation unfathomable, but his ability to boast was also not to be underestimated. Young man, you will die if you are too arrogant and despotic. Whoosh! Whoosh! Suddenly, as a sneer sounded, two armored figures appeared in front of them. Their faces could not be seen clearly, and their voices were hoarse and ear-piercing. Who cares? Who's a young man? The number of years Ben Shao has lived is tens of thousands of times more than the number of roads you've walked, the number of meals you've eaten, and the number of women you've slept with. Logically speaking, you should all kneel on the ground and respectfully call him your ancestor. Wang Kai's pupils shrank slightly when he saw this. He sensed their cultivation aura and immediately smiled playfully. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the level 4 Heavenly God Realm. These two armored ghost guards were definitely heavenly gods, and one of them was at the peak of level 3. The other one was at the peak of level 2. The 7th and 6th Ghost Guardians were only first-grade Heavenly God Realm cultivators. He did not expect the Ghost Guards from before to be able to level up again. From this, it could be seen that the 1st to 5th Ghost Guards were each more powerful than the last. This kid has a glib tongue. If he were to be placed in the army, he would definitely be a capable general. Not bad, not bad. It's a pity that we've already died in the battlefield. Otherwise, we could have taken him in as a general. Then we could have listened to his bragging and entertained him. The two ghost guards looked at each other and laughed. However, Wang Kai was extremely disdainful of what they said. Take Ben Shao in as a general? Let Ben Shao entertain you? Have you guys been dead for too long that your brains are all *king damaged? If you were to be placed in Ben Shao's army, you would only live for 3 seconds at most. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Led an army and fought in a war? Since when did such a thing happen in the cultivation world? Could it be that the Empyrean Palace was like this? Mu Sanyang was extremely surprised. One should know that leading an army and fighting in a war was something that only happened in the mortal world. In the cultivation world, there was no such thing as an army. You've been a general? The two ghost guards narrowed their eyes and looked at Wang Kai with surprise. General? TSK. Before you speak, why don't you open your eyes wide and take a good look? Ben Shao has such an outstanding temperament and is above everyone else. Of course, he would be a general, the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies. I'm not afraid to tell you that the army led by this young master can be said to be barren wherever they go. They have been on the battlefield for tens of thousands of years and have never been defeated. Wang Kai frowned and said with a rather proud expression, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Swoosh! The two ghost guards sneered and pulled out the sword at their waists. They sneered in unison. We are here on the orders of the devil god to kill you. Kill me? I was going to continue bragging with you. Forget it. Since you want to die faster, Ben Shao will fulfill your wishes. Come on, bring your heads with you. Wang Kai's expression was rather disdainful as he smiled. With a flip of his hand, he placed a folding fan on his waist and pointed the heaven-cleansing blade from afar. There were just 2 level 2 and level 3 heavenly gods. Wang Kai did not care much about them. Arrogant. Die. Swoosh. In an instant, the 2 ghost guards yelled in unison, and their figures immediately turned into a dark demon chi, attacking Wang Kai from both sides. At the same time, the surrounding demonic chi suddenly expanded, becoming turbulent and densely packed. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang could not see their surroundings clearly. They lost their vision, divine thought, and other senses. Young man, the devil god said that your cultivation should be at level 2 heavenly god. The devil god wanted to cripple you and throw you out of Fengyang village. However, your cultivation is too high. Your talent is too strong. If we devour you, TSK, 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 TSK. Buzz, following the sinister laughter of the two ghost guards, Wang Kai, who was in the dark, was instantly slashed in the neck and waist by two long blades. Clang! Clang! However, there were only two sounds of metal hitting each other. Wang Kai was not hurt at all. As he watched the sparks fly, Wang Kai cracked his neck and twisted his waist. His expression was rather disdainful as he smiled and said, "I forgot to tell all of you. Not only is this young master strong enough, his body is also terrifyingly strong. I vaguely remember that several million years ago, this young master fought alone against several 100 million beauties. In the end, this young master was still as lively as a dragon and as lively as a tiger, while those beauties were all paralyzed on their beds. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to level 5 Heavenly God Realm. Chapter 714. He is not injured at all. This is impossible. I am using a rank 6 Imperial Martial weapon. This is ridiculous. The Imperial Martial skill that I just used is also a rank 6 Imperial Martial skill. Why? Why can't I hurt him? In an instant, the roars of the two ghost guards could be heard from the dense demonic chi. Their voices were filled with disbelief. However, when Wang Kai heard these words, he was completely speechless. He could not help but rub his nose as he said in disdain, "Don't even mention a mere rank 6 Heavenly Martial weapon. Even if it is a rank 9 Heavenly Martial weapon or a rank 9 Heavenly Martial skill, in front of this young master, there's not much difference between it and the flowery moves of an ordinary person. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Fancy and impractical. How dare you say that what we are using is fancy and impractical? Fourth brother, why waste your breath on him? Let's work together and use the 7 Imperial Martial skills to kill him. Let's do it. Buzz." Suddenly, the demonic chi in the surroundings disappeared and the figures of the 4th and 5th ghost guards appeared. Looking at the demonic chi being absorbed into their bodies, especially the bodies of the two, they actually fused together just like the demonic chi. Wang Kai's eyes narrowed when he saw this. 7 Imperial Martial skills? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and placed the heavenly blade in front of his chest. He looked curiously at the new body that had appeared after they merged. Its body was the size of a house. It had a ferocious-looking face and blood-red eyes. Especially its enormous arms and dense, sharp claws. It was like a long blade. After all this time, they just became bigger and looked more like ghosts. What's the use of that? Wang Kai touched his nose speechlessly. What made Wang Kai unable to look straight at them was their attire. They were surrounded by a black, demonic chi that was like silk. They looked like the 4 heavenly kings in Sun Wukong's world. If they were accompanied by an umbrella or a huge snake, they would look exactly the same. When the two of us merge, our cultivation base can directly break through to 5th grade heavenly god. Even third brother might not be a match for us brothers. You are merely a 4th grade heavenly god. How can you defeat us? Give me your life. Wong. The giant ghost let out the voices of the 2 ghost guards, accompanied by a sinister sneer. It immediately waved its huge arms and smashed towards Wang Kai. Although the movements were slow, the might and the Tao intent contained within them were extremely terrifying. It was so terrifying that even a low-level heavenly god would not be able to resist or evade it. Who told you that Ben Shao is only a 4th-level heavenly god? That was true a second ago, but not now. Furthermore, even if Ben Shao is a 1st-grade heavenly god, it would still be a piece of cake for him to beat you 2 brats without heavenly powers. Wang Kai shrugged. With a rather casual expression, he flipped his palm and casually slapped out. Ha! Bang! Ah! In an instant, under Wang Kai's slap, the giant ghost body was directly sent flying into the air, and immediately after, its speed suddenly increased as it flew away. A 5th-grade heavenly god with 8th-grade heavenly god. Ben Shao is really strange. Who in Fengyang village can defeat Ben Shao? Wang Kai placed his hands behind his back as he shook his head and sighed. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. When he heard the notification, Wang Kai frowned. This proves that there was still a powerful cultivator in Fengyang village who could defeat him. Otherwise, the system would not have given him a bragging reward. Young Lord Kai, they're only the 4th and 5th ghost guards, but they've already reached the 2nd and 3rd stage of the heavenly god realm, and they've even reached the 4th stage of the heavenly god realm. Mu Sanyang's forehead was covered in sweat. Her hand, which was holding the long sword, was trembling slightly. At this moment, she regretted following Wang Kai to this place. This was beyond the scope of battle that she could participate in. Peak heavenly reversal realm experts. Even if the 20 followers could temporarily fight against heavenly gods, they were still nothing in Fengyang village. Ben Shao, I have to ask you, didn't you say that the demon god was only a lower grade heavenly god? Why do all his subordinates have battle prowess that surpasses 3rd grade heavenly god? Wang Kai was speechless. If the 4th ghost guard was a 3rd grade heavenly god, then the 3rd ghost guard would be at least a 4th grade heavenly god. What about the 2nd ghost guard? What about the 1st ghost guard? Moreover, it was impossible to estimate their combat strength based on their cultivation. When the 4th and 5th ghost guards worked together, they could unleash the strength of a 4th grade heavenly god. That was the combat strength of a middle grade heavenly god. I've heard that demonic Tao has always been quick to cultivate. However, everything has its pros and cons. Cultivating quickly is not a good thing. Just like those ghost guards, they do not possess the power of heaven. Mu Sanyang said, pursing her red lips. She thought that no matter how fast the demonic Tao cultivated, the demon god would not be much stronger. After all, how long had it been? However, the result was beyond her expectations. Even though it had only been a short time, the demon god's cultivation speed had increased tremendously. You're right. The power of heaven displayed by the ghost guards just now did not contain the power of heaven. From this, we can see that they are weaker than the disciples of ordinary factions. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and rubbed his nose with a mocking expression. For example, the Sky Reaching School was only ranked 2,500. However, their disciples had already activated the power of heaven. Among these ghost guards, the weakest one was 9th grade heavenly god. However, their power of heaven was only at level 0. At the very beginning, it was the most ordinary power of heaven. Even though Old 4 and Old 5 were heavenly gods, their heavenly energy was still at level 0. Otherwise, how could Wang Kai have one so easily? I'm not sure what realm the 3rd and 1st ghost guards and the demon god have reached. Young Master Kai, what is the true level of your power of heaven? Mu Sanyang looked at Wang Kai with her beautiful eyes full of expectation. Previously, Wang Kai had used the power of heaven in the inn, but now, the level 6 power of heaven could only allow Wang Kai to possess the combat strength of a peak heavenly god. But the demon god, the 4th ghost guard, was a 3rd grade heavenly god. What realm could the demon god reach? Looking at the worried look on Mu Sanyang's face, Wang Kai was speechless. He shrugged and said casually, "What are you afraid of? Ben Shao is now at level 5 heavenly god realm. If the seal is broken, he will be so strong that even Ben Shao is afraid of himself." Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to level 6 heavenly god realm. Chapter 715. 3rd Elder? The 3rd Ghost Guard? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly as he sized up the man in front of him with some surprise. However, he discovered that the man only had one arm, and that only palm only had 3 fingers. On the left side of his robe, the word gamble was printed on his chest. I just destroyed the amalgamation of the 4th and 5th Ghost Guards, and now a 3rd Ghost Guard has appeared. He is also a gambler. This Fengyang village is interesting. Wang Kai curled his lips and sighed. Whoosh! Hearing Wang Kai's words, the 3rd Ghost Guard, Zhong Xian, was not angry. Instead, he smiled and praised, "Not bad, kid. You have good taste. Do you want to take a gamble?" Take a gamble? What do you want to bet on with Ben Xiao? However, let me say this first. If you gamble with Ben Xiao, the god of gamblers, your 3 fingers might be chopped off. Maybe your arm, legs, and even your head will be gone. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Whoosh! The 3rd Ghost Guard was not angry. He flipped his hand and took out a white die. He threw it at Wang Kai. At the same time, he had another die in his hand. I, Zhong Xian, am a gambler. I have lost many times. I lost so much that I had to take a leave of absence and was disabled. In the end, I even lost my life. Because of this, I will not lose again. Zhong Xian smiled confidently. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and shook his head in amusement. He said jokingly, "Are you using your limbs and life to tell everyone that your gambling skills are awesome?" Whoosh! As soon as he said this, Zhong Xian's big eyes suddenly widened, and he suddenly threw the dice in his hand into the air. He turned around and waved his arm, shouting loudly, "Big or small, there's no draw. Whoever rolls a 6 first wins." Oh, then you've already lost. Look, Ben Xiao's score is 6. However, before the dice could land on the ground and roll out the numbers, Wang Kai had already extended his arm forward and opened his palm. The dice on his palm was exactly 6 points. Patter. As the die fell to the ground, the number that rolled out happened to be 6. However, Zhong Xian was already dumbfounded on the spot. He didn't even look at the number of the dice. "Brat, you cheated. Without throwing the dice, how can it count?" Zhong Xian came back to his senses and immediately scolded in a stern voice. In response, Wang Kai merely shrugged his shoulders. His expression was rather disdainful as he sneered. "Ben Xiao finally knows how you lost your arm and 2 fingers. What do you mean?" Zhong Xian asked in a deep voice. "It's very simple. Firstly, you didn't mention the wager. Secondly, you didn't mention the rules. You just said that you want to compare the size of the dice. Since that's the case, Ben Xiao can play however he wants. Is there anything wrong with that?" Wang Kai frowned, and the corners of his mouth curled into a mocking smile. Whoosh! Hearing these words, Zhong Xian's expression froze, and his face turned pale. His body trembled as he lowered his head to look at the dice. He gritted his teeth and said, "Let's bet our lives. Throw the dice into the air, and whoever rolls a 6 first will." Whoosh! Patter! However, before Zhong Xian could finish speaking, Wang Kai had already thrown the dice into the air, and it landed on the ground. The number was exactly 6 points. Not bad, not bad. Ben Xiao's luck is not bad. Well, now that you've lost, can you end your life here? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with satisfaction. Hiss! Seeing this situation, Mu Sanyang's breathing stopped. Her beautiful eyes stared blankly at Wang Kai. She couldn't believe that there was such a game in the world. This was clearly a scoundrel. Bastard! You cheated. Cheated your grandpa. You've already said that whoever rolls a 6 in the air will win. If that's the case, why would Ben Xiao wait for you? Gambling has never been fair. Do you understand now? You're a piece of trash in the gambling world. Wang Kai curled his lips and snorted with disdain. Crack! Hearing this, Zhong Xian clenched his teeth with a bang sound. Soon after, his hand suddenly clenched, directly crushing the dice into pieces. All right, haha. The warm-up time is over. Let's start the real game. Zhong Xian laughed loudly. However, his smile was a little stiff. Wang Kai's sophistry had fooled him 2 times in a row. At this moment, Zhong Xian was a little confused by the game. The real game? Interesting. However, why are you the one who decides what to bet? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. Zhong Xian's eyes narrowed when he heard this. He stared at Wang Kai for a while and grinned. All right, you decide. Oh, then let's bet on mutual slashing. You slash me once, and I slash you once. Whoever dies first loses. What do you think? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled leisurely. Mutual slashing. Swoosh. These words immediately caused Zhong Xian's eyebrows to furrow. He carefully observed Wang Kai and coldly laughed. Brat, you do have the guts of a gambler. All right, I'll bet with you. Young Master Kai, his combat strength is definitely not lower than a 5th-grade heavenly god. Before Wang Kai could say anything, Mu Sanyang couldn't stand it anymore. Wasn't this kind of bet digging one's own grave? The 4th Ghost Guardian and the 5th Ghost Guardian were both 3rd-grade heavenly gods. When they joined forces, they could unleash the combat strength of a 4th-grade heavenly god or even a 5th-grade heavenly god. However, the one in front of them was even more powerful. Boy, it's not too late to change the terms. Zhong Xian licked his lips and sneered. Swoosh. However, Wang Kai waved his arm and smiled confidently. There's no need for that. Let's start. Since it's Ben Xiao's bet, Ben Xiao will slash you first. What do you think? Ha ha ha. All right, no problem. Go ahead and slash me. Oh, by the way, little brother, be careful of your saber. If it bounces back, you'll be slashed to death again. Zhong Xian laughed out loud. He waved his only arm and put it behind his back. He raised his head and stuck out his chest as if he was ready to slash at will. He thought that no matter how powerful Wang Kai was, he was only a 4th-grade heavenly god or a 5th-grade heavenly god. However, even a peak 5th-grade heavenly god would not pose any threat to him. I, Zhong Xian, am a 6th-grade heavenly god. Zhong Xian sneered. He then slowly closed his eyes. Wang Kai frowned when he saw Zhong Xian's confidence. All living slash. Buzz. Bang. Bang. In an instant, Wang Kai approached Zhong Xian, and with a swing of his blade, Zhong Xian's body was directly split in two. However, there was not a single drop of blood, nor was Zhong Xian dead. Ah, gosh, he really did it. Mu Sanyang covered her mouth and exclaimed. Her eyes glittered as she looked at Wang Kai. She wanted to know how he did it. It would be fine if he had used a divine martial weapon, but he had used his hand to slash Zhong Xian. Chapter 716. Haha, Zhong Xian, am not dead. Boy, your heavenly skill is pretty good. You managed to cut me in half without losing your life. Not bad, not bad. Restore me to my original form. It's my turn to cut you. The 3rd Ghost Guard laughed out loud. Although he was cut in half, he was only surprised. He was not afraid at all. Looking at the two halves of Zhong Xian's body wriggling on the ground, their mouths, which were clearly separated, opened in laughter. Immediately, Mu Sanyang felt a chill run down her spine, her delicate body shivering in disgust. Restore you to your original form? Is there something wrong with your brain? Wang Kai frowned, his eyes full of disdain as he sneered. Swoosh! Hearing this, Zhong Xian abruptly stopped laughing. Looking at Wang Kai's indifferent appearance, a sense of despair and panic instantly filled his heart. Don't forget that we have a bet. Whoever dies first will lose. I'm not dead yet. Are you trying to cheat me? Zhong Xian scolded. Bang! However, Wang Kai did not care about this at all. He stepped forward and suddenly kicked out, directly sending half of Zhong Xian's body flying out of the village. Remember this. Are you addicted to gambling? Ben Xiao was just casually suggesting a bet. Moreover, what's the difference between you and death? Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders in disdain. Without looking at Zhong Xian's body, he carried Ruo Shui and walked away. Stupid, arrogant. The name is a mistake. Mu Sanyang shook her head and commented. She then followed Wang Kai. Bastard. I want to bet my life with you. Get back here. Get back here. Zhong Xian, who was filled with grief and indignation, shouted loudly. In the end, he was so aggrieved that he started to cry. This ghost guard of Fengyang Village is rather interesting. Just because his cultivation speed is outstanding and his cultivation realm is high, he dares to look down on me. Sigh, if I had known this would happen, I would not have allowed them to become demonic cultivators back then. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and sighed with a regretful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the level 8 Heavenly God Realm. What does this have to do with you? Mu Sanyang looked at him with disdain. After spending so much time with him, she knew that Wang Kai loved to brag. His bragging was unacceptable. It was something that had nothing to do with him, but he made it sound like it was the truth. Young Master Kai, we have reached the end. If we go any further, we will leave the Fengyang village. Mu, she frowned and said. The end? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at the surrounding dilapidated houses and the ground littered with corpses. He then looked ahead, where there was a small river. After crossing a wooden bridge over the river, what entered his eyes was an old forest deep in the mountains. The second ghost guard, the first ghost guard, and the demon god show yourselves before Ben Shao razes the entire village to the ground. Do not doubt, Ben Shao was the person who destroyed Tianzhou. The Tianzhou today was merely rebuilt by Ben Shao out of kindness. Wang Kai placed his hands behind his back and shouted proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Rebuilt Tianzhou after destroying it? Why don't you say that you created heaven and earth? I think he really did say that he created heaven and earth. Mu Sanyang bit her red lips. Her eyes were full of helplessness. You're not answering? Fine. Then Ben Shao won't hold back. Wang Kai's eyes narrowed. He then raised the sky blade above his head. Lightning fire blade of extinction. Buzz, 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 buzz. In an instant, under the infusion of Wang Kai's Tao will, streaks of purplish-white flames appeared on the blade. They crackled like lightning as they intertwined with each other. At the same time, in the clouds high up in the sky, thunderclouds also rolled over. Streaks of purple-white lightning flames resonated with the sky, cleansing blade. Gosh, what kind of heavenly martial skill is this? It's so terrifying. Sensing the terrifying aura, Mu Sanyang was so scared that her face turned pale. Her delicate body tensed up as she moved closer to Wang Kai. Her jade-like hand involuntarily grabbed onto his sleeve. Even Mu Sanyang, who was at the peak of the heavenly revolving realm, did not have the slightest bit of confidence. You're still not coming out? F*CKU. If I don't show you what I'm made of, you'll never know how powerful Ben Shao is. Destroy. Wang Kai frowned and shouted. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Buzz. Swoosh. 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 As Wang Kai swung the sky blade down, the purplish-white lightning fire that had gathered in the sky descended as well. The lightning fire, which was as thick as a bucket, turned into light pillars and attacked Fengyang village. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Only a series of loud rumbling sounds could be heard, and the surroundings had already fallen into a world of lightning and fire. Nothing could be seen clearly, and no aura could be sensed. Perhaps there was nothing left in this place. However, when Wang Kai swung his saber and created a whirlwind that blew away the lightning, fire, and smoke, what was revealed made Mu Sanyang cry out in surprise. Her jade-like hands, which were holding Wang Kai's sleeves, suddenly tightened. Her delicate body was tightly pressed against Wang Kai's chest. The ground around them had already caved in, and the entire Fengyang village had been destroyed. The pit was so deep that they could not see the bottom. Looking down, it was pitch black. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang were standing on a huge pillar in the middle of the pit. It could be said that the entire Fengyang village was buried under the deep pit, with the place where Wang Kai was standing as the epicenter. Sai, what a pity. You caused those ghost guards to lose their lives. This has nothing to do with this young master. It's all because of that cowardly demon god. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with a mocking expression. Whoosh! Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's delicate body stiffened. Her beautiful eyes were filled with fear, especially when she saw Wang Kai's expression. It was as if he had done something very normal. Between him and the demon god, who is the real demon? Which one is the real him? Mu Sanyang gulped. Her heart was pounding nonstop. She had rarely seen Wang Kai kill anyone since she got to know him. She had thought that he was just like how he boasted. He did not like to kill. But now, with a single move, he had wiped out the entire village. Moreover, it was a destructive and terrifying attack. Although the ghost guard deserved to die, Mu Sanyang still felt a lingering fear after witnessing such a cruel and terrifying method. Chapter 717. Still not coming out? Haha, this young master has always liked to admire the beauty of mountains and rivers. Thus, since a young age, I've been praised as having the bearing of an immortal and boundless magic power. It's a rather good mountain. Never mind, if it's destroyed, then it's destroyed. Wang Kai shrugged, then raised his head to look at the deep mountains and forests and sighed endlessly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the level 9 Heavenly God Realm. Host, Wang Kai Profession, Heavenly Martial Artist Level. Level 9 Heavenly God Cultivation Technique. Path to Heaven Heavenly Martial Skill. Exterminating Thunder Fire Blade. Golden Wind Kick Equipment. Shape-Shifting Fan. Heavenly Saber Heavenly Power. Level 8 Astral Origin Points. 0 Physique. Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beasts. None Bragging Points. 66,000 Experience. 04000000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at it before urging his mind to close it. He did not feel much about his experience points increasing by another 100,000. It's just bragging a little more. I'm a bragging god who can blow a living person to death and bring a dead person back to life. Why would I care about bragging a little more? What a joke. Wang Kai put his hands behind his back in disdain. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Young Master Kai, do you want to destroy the forest as well? If that's the case, the Saintess Yunshi's safety. Mu Sanyang blinked her beautiful eyes. She really wanted to know if Wang Kai could kill the Saintess Yunshi of the Sky-Reaching Church. After the destructive heavenly martial skill, Fengyang village was completely destroyed. Once the uncontrollable heavenly martial skill was used, the forest would be razed to the ground. It doesn't matter. Even if she really unfortunately dies, this young master can still bring her back to life. Well, if you don't believe me, you can try first. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Only a fool would try. If I believe you, I'll be a dead man, right? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang turned her head away in disdain and simply ignored her. In fact, Mu Sanyang really hoped that Holy Maiden Yunshi would die a horrible death. Since you all still refuse to come out, there's no other way. Extermination, lightning fire. How dare you? Second Ghost Guard, your second uncle is here. Whoosh! Before Wang Kai could finish speaking, a furious roar was emitted from deep within the ancient forest, following which birds flew in all directions in fright. Second Ghost Guard? Seeing this, Wang Kai's eyes suddenly narrowed. He couldn't help but touch his nose and said with a disdainful smile, If I don't use force, you really won't come out. Is this what people often call cheap bones? Kid, cut the crap. The demon god is now preparing for his wedding. I advise you not to anger the demon god. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. The second ghost guard reprimanded coldly. Preparing for the wedding? Whoosh. As soon as he said this, Wang Kai's face immediately darkened, and the veins on his forehead popped out. Seeing Wang Kai's reaction, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes were filled with fear as she stared at the second ghost guard. Of all people to provoke? Why did he have to provoke Wang Kai? Didn't he know that Wang Kai was even more of a devil than the demon god? Wedding? TSK. Who are you marrying? Yin Shi? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a playful smile. Seeing this, the second ghost guard sneered disdainfully. Standing at the edge of the forest, he pointed at the small river and said, Now that the demon god's wish has been fulfilled, the village is gone. However, if you dare to cross this river, you'll be doomed eternally. Get lost. Golden wind kick. Buzz. Wang Kai opened his mouth and shouted. Immediately, his body flipped over and flew up into the sky. Then, he lifted his leg and swept it down. Whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, numerous golden leg prints flew down from the sky. Like illusions, they were densely packed and kicked toward the second ghost guard by the river. Ha ha ha, it's just the 5 heaven skills. How dare you show off in front of me? 6 heaven skills, mountain pushing palm. The 5th ghost guard sneered and took a horse stance in disdain. He clapped his palms together, and countless palm prints flew out. Buzz, rumble, rumble. The second ghost guard, who was full of confidence, turned around and was about to leave after performing the heaven skills. It was as if he had expected that Wang Kai would die. However, just as the second ghost guard turned around, the sound of wind breaking came from behind him. A strong sense of crisis filled his heart. No. Bang, 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 rumble. The second ghost guard, whose face was filled with fear, turned his head to look. However, what greeted him was countless golden footprints. His body was immediately kicked to pieces, and the river was destroyed without a trace. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing a 9th grade Heavenly God expert. You have gained 1 million experience points. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai was stunned. 9th grade Heavenly God? The second ghost guard was already a 9th grade Heavenly God? Then, what was the cultivation of the first ghost guard? How strong was the demon god? 5 heaven skills, to be able to kill a 9th grade Heavenly God expert of the 6 heaven skills. Young Master Kai, what is your cultivation level now? Mu Sanyang asked in shock. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and waved his hand casually. He smiled faintly and said, Not strong, not strong. Ben Shao is just a few hundred realms higher than the Heavenly God realm. It's not worth mentioning. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience points and bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 1st grade Heavenly Dao realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th grade. Congratulations to the host for reaching the great circle of Dao arts and achieving the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. Host, Wang Kai profession, Heavenly Martial Artist realm, 1st grade Heavenly Dao realm Dao art. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth heaven skills, exterminating thunder fire blade, golden wind kick equipment, shape-shifting fan, heaven-cleaving blade heavenly power, 9th grade astral origin points, 0 physique, invulnerable guardian spirit beasts, none bragging points, 69,000 experience, 0400000. When he heard the notification, Wang Kai's pupils abruptly shrunk. Even his breathing became hurried. He never thought that the realm above the Heavenly God realm would be the Heavenly Dao realm. What did the Heavenly Dao represent? That was the ultimate level of martial arts. 9th grade Heavenly Power was also the pinnacle. However, the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth made Wang Kai very confused. What does the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth mean? Wang Kai frowned and asked in surprise. Host, the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth means that all the Dao arts that you have cultivated have reached the pinnacle level. It contains the pinnacle power of the Tao arts. Ah, does that mean that the heavenly Tao arts and bragging that Ben Shao cultivated are all contained in the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth? Wang Kai's mouth twitched. In the end, it was not that useful. It was just a change of name. Then, are there any realms above the heavenly Tao realm? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with his mind. Host, the heavenly Tao is not the limit. Only by breaking the heavenly Tao and condensing one's own Tao can one reach the pinnacle of the Tao. Chapter 718. Let's go. Now there's only the first ghost guard and the demon god who only knows how to hide in the dark and show off. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly and said with a casual smile. After obtaining the Sky Destroyer crown and Sky Destroyer armor, he could use them together with the Sky Destroyer blade. Wang Kai relied on the strength of a level 9 heaven to fight an enemy that was 9 levels higher. Now that there was one more, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. It was equivalent to the ability to fight an enemy that was 1 level higher. Wang Kai really wanted to know how powerful the demon god was. Young Master Kai, the second ghost guard, is already a level 9 heavenly god. The first ghost guard and the demon god's cultivation are unpredictable. We'd better be careful. Mu Sanyang reminded him sternly. Seeing Wang Kai's nonchalant attitude towards the demon god, she felt extremely helpless. Crack! Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, before Wang Kai could respond, the space in front of him was torn apart. 20 corpses that had already lost all signs of life fell out from it. Seeing this, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes widened, and her face instantly turned pale. The 20 corpses belonged to the experts of the romantic floor that had accompanied them on this trip. Originally, 20 powerhouses in the reversal state could have nurtured 20 heavenly deities. But now they were all dead. Is this a provocation? Wang Kai's eyes narrowed slightly. Naturally, he recognized their identities. He rubbed his nose and looked coldly into the mountains. You killed 7 of my ghost guards, so I'll kill 20 of your followers. If you dare to offend me again, don't blame me for being merciless. Buzz, as a voice filled with killing intent rang out. The birds and beasts in the forest scattered in fright. It's not the demon god? Wang Kai was stunned. He thought it was the demon god. Unexpectedly, the voice did not belong to the demon god. You're the first ghost guard? Wang Kai curled his lips and asked. Buzz. Mu Sanyang's delicate body trembled as she hurriedly placed her sword in front of her chest. Her beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings vigilantly. To be able to kill 20 powerhouses in the reversal state without a sound, his combat strength must be extremely terrifying. Scram! Whoosh! However, that voice did not respond. Instead, it gave the order to chase them away. This situation caused Wang Kai to frown as his face darkened. Good. Number 1 ghostly guard. Do you know that Ben Shao has been rejected 300 million times? Because of this, Ben Shao destroyed 300 million lives. You will become the 300 million. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with an unfriendly expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. 300 million lives were destroyed. Just because he had been rejected 300 million times? Such words made the first ghost guard speechless. Even Mu Sanyang, who was standing beside Wang Kai, twitched her red lips. Such words were simply boasting without any bounds. You may not know that because I asked some trash to scram, those trash refused to leave. Because of this, the number of trash that I have killed is incalculable. Whoosh! As the sound came from the depths of the mountain, Wang Kai's brows suddenly twisted as the veins on his forehead popped out. F*CKU. Who are you bragging to? Come out. Whoosh! Suddenly, Wang Kai roared. With a flip of his hand, he tossed the Heavenbreaker blade into the depths of the mountain. Then, he covered it with his divine sense. You're just... what? You actually found it. Poof! Plop! As the first ghost guard screamed, his leg was pierced by the skyblade. He was dragged out from the depths of the forest and fell at Wang Kai's feet. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and saw that the first ghost guard was an ordinary-looking middle-aged man. However, he was wearing gold and silver and looked very rich. What caught Wang Kai's attention was the scimitar in his hand. Its aura was not lower than a rank 7 sky martial weapon. Wang Kai was surprised that a ghost guard without the strength of heavens could possess a tier 7 or above celestial martial weapon. Where did you get this scimitar? Looking at the engravings on it, it should be used by a woman. Did you steal it? Wang Kai frowned and said with a playful smile. Hiss. The first ghost guard kept sucking in cold air as he pressed his leg with one hand. The wound caused by the sky blade was bleeding profusely. This scimitar was given by the demon god. I didn't steal it. Moreover, the engravings on the scimitar are not enough to prove that it is used by a woman. Are men not allowed to be vain? The first ghost guard shouted with a pale face. Men are vain. Bang! Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. He immediately raised his leg and kicked the first ghost guard's face. The first ghost guard's face was smashed, and he spat out a few teeth along with blood. Then you should go back to the furnace and be rebuilt. With your looks, even if you are vain, you're only here to scare others. Look at Ben Shao. Isn't he handsome enough? Isn't he handsome enough? Without Ben Shao's handsome appearance, you will be punished by the heavens if you say that you are vain in the future. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Woo woo woo, woo woo woo. However, at this moment, the first ghost guard couldn't even speak clearly. He could only whimper incessantly with a large footprint on his face. Although it was unknown what he was saying, one could tell from his emotions that it was disdain and dissatisfaction. You're not bad. You are at the first stage of the heavenly Tao realm. It is a pity that the power of heaven does not have a grade. How about it? Do you want to hang out with Ben Shao? Ben Shao can bestow you with the power of heaven at the 9th level. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a teasing smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 3rd stage of the heavenly Tao realm. The power of heaven at the 9th level. Could it be that the power of heaven could be bestowed? Such words made the first ghost guard feel disdain. When his face recovered, he snorted coldly. I just broke through to the heavenly Tao realm not long ago, so I haven't had the time to activate my power of heaven. However, don't be so arrogant. The demon god's power of heaven is enough to make you despair. He had not had the time to activate the power of heaven. A demon god had the power of heaven, and it was extremely strong. In that case, it was not that the ghost guard could not activate the power of heaven, but that he had not reached a certain realm. Wang Kai's eyes flickered slightly. After pondering for a while, he nodded and said with a smile, Not bad. If the demon god did not have the power of heaven, then Ben Shao would also find it boring. Bring Ben Shao to him, and he will spare you from death. Chapter 719. Wishful Thinking. Alive, I am the first ghost guard of the demon god. Dead, I will still be the first ghost guard of the demon god. The first ghost guard's attitude was extremely tough. He sat on the ground as if he was acting shamelessly, with a cold smile on his face. It was as if he was not afraid of death. Clap, clap, clap. Wang Kai immediately clapped his hands when he saw this. He said with admiration, Not bad, not bad. You are brave and loyal. In that case, go to hell. Buzz. Puff. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai swung his saber and pierced through the first ghost guard's heart. You? Wah. The first ghost guard's eyes suddenly widened. Blood vessels appeared in his eyes, as if his eyeballs were about to pop out. He raised his arm and pointed at Wang Kai. Blood spurted out of his mouth uncontrollably. In the end, before he could finish his words, his head tilted to one side and he died on the spot. What a pity. Only those who were in the same realm as Ben Shao, or those who were in a higher realm than Ben Shao, will be rewarded with experience points after killing them. Sigh, can't you be a little bit stronger? Who asked you to be so pretentious? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and snorted with disdain. In Wang Kai's opinion, it was not that he rarely killed people, but it depended on whether the person he killed was useful to him or not. Just like the first Ghost Guard, even if he killed him, there would be no reward. The first Ghost Guard, who should not have died, chose to challenge Wang Kai. In the end, he died because he was looking for trouble. 9 great Ghost Guards, now 8, are dead. The remaining one is going to be Ben Shao's maid. Demon God, what are you thinking? Do you have to wait for Ben Shao to twist your head off before you realize that Ben Shao is a terrorist who can destroy the world? Wang Kai shrugged and sneered arrogantly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and bragging points. Young Master Kai, the demon god, is already here. Suddenly, Mu Sanyang's face turned pale. Her eyes were filled with fear as she looked at the stone path in the forest. Her delicate body trembled slightly. He's here? Wang Kai's eyes immediately narrowed when he heard this. He turned to look at the stone road. There was a man wearing a red wedding robe standing there quietly. Her appearance was ordinary, yet her skin was shockingly white. Especially her lips, they were scarlet red to the extreme, accompanied by her pitch-black pupils and slender fingernails that were like blades. F***, an ugly version of Dongfang Booby. Wang Kai's pupils suddenly shrank, and he immediately exclaimed in shock. Dongfang Booby? What the hell? Hearing such words, Mu Sanyang's expression froze. She looked at Wang Kai in confusion. It was obviously the demon god Zhang Hu. Since when was there an additional Dongfang Booby? My name is Zhang Hu, from Fengyang Village. My fiancée was kidnapped, and I sought death with hatred. Unexpectedly, I encountered the corpse of the demon god in this mountain. After being guided, I swallowed the corpse into my stomach and stepped into the world of cultivation. After cultivating for more than 100 years, I reached the 5th grade of the heavenly path and the 8th grade of the power of heaven. Since you want to save Yun Shi so badly, I'll let you live. Leave this place quickly. Also, the 9th Ghost Guard must stay behind. I still need to rely on her to recover the other 8 Ghost Guards. As Zhang Hu spoke, a piercing voice of yin and yang was heard. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang frowned. Where's your needle? Where's your thread? Hurry up and take it out. Let Ben Shao see the power of the Sunflower Manual. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled mockingly. Whoosh! Seeing that Wang Kai had no intention of leaving and was instead still talking nonsense, Zhang Hu's gaze turned cold. Buzz! Suddenly, Zhang Hu waved his hand, and all the trees in the forest were uprooted. Their roots turned into sharp blades and densely covered Wang Kai. Is that all you've got? The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly when he saw this. He shook his head with a disappointed expression and stood motionless on the spot. With a sweep of the sky cleansing blade, he destroyed all the trees and trees. 5th grade of the heavenly path realm. Not bad. You are indeed very strong. You are stronger than Ben Shao by 2 grades. 8th grade of the power of heaven is not weak either. However, you are 1 grade lower than Ben Shao. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Whoosh! Hearing this, Zhang Hu's expression finally changed. His pitch-black pupils constricted as he said with a solemn expression, 9th level of heaven's power, 3rd stage of the heavenly Tao realm. At your age, you are truly a monstrous cultivator in the heavenly region. However, you are still 1 level weaker than this demon god. 1 grade of combat power was like heaven and earth. Once the battle started, there was no doubt that he would lose. Wang Kai naturally knew this, but Mu Sanyang knew it even better. At this moment, Mu Sanyang was filled with regret. How good would it be if she did not come with Wang Kai? They originally believed that Wang Kai possessed an unfathomable cultivation level, but they never expected that even at the pinnacle of the Tianzhou, the heavenly Tao realm, he was still weaker than Zhang Hu in combat strength. No. Actually, we have the same combat power. 9th grade of the power of heaven is the top, but that is not the case. Ben Shao has the combat power of a 10th grade. I'm not afraid to tell you directly. Do you see how Ben Shao is dressed? It's enough to make up for the difference of one level. Wang Kai shrugged and said bluntly as he brandished the heaven's blade. Then, he pointed at the sky armor and sky crown. This was the first time Wang Kai had spoken the truth. It was for no other reason than to fight with an expert who had the same combat power as him. Young Master Kai, that's impossible. Although a level 9 Imperial weapon can increase the user's combat power, it can't reach the level of a first grade. Mu Sanyang gritted her teeth and reminded him nervously. Even so, Mu Sanyang still hoped that Wang Kai could win. Can't. Hearing this, Wang Kai frowned and rubbed his nose. If that was the case, then his 3 rank 9 celestial weapons far surpassed all the celestial weapons in the Tianzhou. This demonic god also possesses a level 9 divine martial weapon. However, I have high hopes for you. For you to reach such heights at such a young age, if you join forces with me, Tianzhou will belong to the two of us. Buzz! Zhang Hu waved his hand, and a golden spear appeared in his hand. The aura it exuded was that of a level 9 Imperial weapon. You want to join forces with Ben Shao to dominate Tianzhou? TSK, a frog in a well. In Tianzhou, the Heavenly Path realm isn't the strongest. There are many experts above the Heavenly Path realm. It's just that you don't know about them. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. He had tested this before, but the result was a reward from the system. This proved that Wang Kai's Heavenly Path realm was not the limit in Tianzhou. Mu Sanyang and Zhang, who did not know about this because they were not qualified to reach that level. Chapter 720. The Heavenly Path realm was not the strongest realm in Tianzhou. Hearing such words, Mu Sanyang covered her face and exclaimed. Zhang Hu also frowned and stared coldly at Wang Kai. Don't be an alarmist. When I was successful in my cultivation, I destroyed the second strongest sect in Tianzhou, the Sky Reaching School, with my Heavenly God realm cultivation. Although the sect master was also a heavenly god, he was no match for me. Zhang Hu sneered proudly. Swoosh! As soon as this was said, Wang Kai was stunned. The destruction of the Sky Reaching School was related to Zhang Hu. The sect master of the Heavenly God realm was also killed by Zhang Hu. Rumor has it that you were the one who attacked the Sky Reaching School. Mu Sanyang looked at Zhang Hu in surprise. Hearing this, Wang Kai frowned. He couldn't help but touch his nose and said doubtfully, Zhang Hu was just an opportunity for the destruction of the Sky Reaching School. The real cause of the decline of the Sky Reaching School is definitely someone else. The Heavenly Path realm was not the limit of Tianzhou. How could a Heavenly God realm cultivator destroy the second strongest sect in Tianzhou? Believe it or not, I'll ask again. Are you willing to join me and take over the position of the first Ghost Guard? Zhang Hu's eyes turned, and he sneered. Take over the position of the first Ghost Guard? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and looked at him with disdain. He said indifferently, Zhang Hu, it seems that you're hiding a lot of things from Ben Shao. But it doesn't matter. When Ben Shao beats you to the ground, you'll tell him everything. Swoosh! With that, Wang Kai threw the unconscious Ruo Shui to Mu Sanyang, while he brandished the sky cleansing blade and attacked Zhang Hu. With his heavenly god cultivation base back then, wanting to destroy the Heavenly Reaching School was undoubtedly a fool's dream. In that case, he must be hiding something. Otherwise, why didn't Zhang Hu notice that the second strongest faction in the Tianzhou, the Heaven-Reaching Church, didn't even have a heavenly Dao realm expert appear when it was attacked? Even so, Zhang Hu still believed that there must be a secret behind the destruction of the Sky Reaching School. You overestimate yourself. This demonic god wants to see where your so-called level 10 heaven's power comes from. Whoosh! Suddenly, Zhang Hu's figure flashed. He raised his arm and waved his sharp claws, facing Wang Kai head-on. Golden wind kick. Bang, 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 bang. However, just as the two of them were about to collide, Wang Kai's figure suddenly paused. He turned around and stepped in the air. His legs were like illusions as he stepped down. As the golden leg prince flew down, They directly suppressed Zhang, who was charging at them, and forced him back to the ground. For a moment, dust flew, trees exploded, and rocks flew everywhere. 9 heavenly techniques, red dust blood shield. 1. A loud shout came from within the smoke and dust. Then, rays of blood-red light soared into the sky and blew away the smoke and dust. When Zhang Hu's figure appeared, he was surrounded by a layer of blood-red barrier that looked like an eggshell. Regardless of whether it was rocks or wood shavings, as long as they touched the barrier, they would turn into ashes. Hee, you said that you didn't hide anything. In that case, you're just an ordinary person. Even if you have achieved Tao, where did you get the 9 heavenly techniques? Don't tell me that it was left behind by the corpse of the demon clan sovereign. How can there be so many good things in this world? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. The demon clan sovereign had been dead for God knows how many years. His corpse had been swallowed by Zhang Hu. How could he have left behind the heavenly techniques? If there was such a good thing in this world, how could it be left to an ordinary person? Whoosh! When Zhang Hu heard this, he did not look surprised. Instead, he slowly stepped into the air and stared coldly at Wang Kai. You are right. The demon clan's sovereign only had a corpse and nothing else. I was able to practice the demon Tao cultivation method because I comprehended the demon Tao inheritance in the demon clan's sovereign's flesh. You are still lying. If you can comprehend the demon Tao inheritance, why can't you comprehend the demon clan's sovereign's heavenly techniques? Looks like if I don't beat you up, you won't tell the truth. 9 heavenly techniques, exterminating lightning fireblade. Wang. Crackle. Suddenly, after Wang Kai's voice sounded, the sky vanquishing blade was lifted and pointed towards the heavens. Under the activation of the power of the heavens, waves of thunder clouds rolled over in the sky. The momentum that was brewed by the purple-white lightning flames was extremely terrifying. The heavenly techniques are indeed powerful. However, there are pros and cons. No matter how powerful they are, they cannot be used instantly. You have lost. Whoosh! Demon God Zhang Hu sneered as he raised his golden spear and sent it flying high into the sky. When he saw this, Wang Kai's eyebrows twisted. Zhang Hu was right. The extermination lightning fireblade needed some time to accumulate power and continuously strengthen it with the power of the heavens. Only when it was released to the maximum would it reach its strongest power. Haha, even so, can you do anything to Ben Shao? Whoosh! Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered disdainfully. Before Zhang Hu could attack, his figure had already flickered, appearing and disappearing high up in the sky. At the same time, more thunderclouds gathered in the sky. 9 heavenly techniques, blood steps. Whoosh! Bang! Woo! In an instant, before Wang Kai could react, Zhang Hu had already appeared in front of him. He waved his spear and smashed it hard on Wang Kai's chest. Wang Kai immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and was slammed into the ground like a meteor. Damn you, you still have the 9 heavenly techniques. Young Master Kai, cough, cough, don't come over. It's okay. We are evenly matched. It's a fair fight. A little injury is nothing. When Mu Sanyang saw this, she panicked and was about to rush to Wang Kai. However, just as she took a step, Wang Kai stopped her. Whoosh! By the time Wang Kai rose from the deep pit and lifted his head to look at the sky, the brewing thunderclouds had already disappeared without a trace. Under the absolute speed of Zhang Hu's 9 heavenly techniques, Wang Kai had no choice but to stop the extermination lightning fireblade. If not for that, it would not have been the body of the spear that hit him, but the tip of the spear. Join me, and I will spare your life, Zhang Hu said in a deep voice. His body floated proudly in the air, and his eyes were full of contempt as he looked down at Wang Kai. Such a haughty attitude caused Wang Kai's face to darken, and the veins on his forehead bulged. 9 heavenly techniques, airlock steps. 9 heavenly defense techniques, immortal shield. 9 heavenly attack techniques, lightning speed blade. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining 9 heavenly techniques, airlock steps. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining 9 heavenly defense techniques, Immortal Shield. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining 9 heavenly attack techniques, Lightning Speed Blade. 5,000 bragging points have been consumed. Chapter 721. F *CK your grandpa. Weren't you being so awesome just now? Come on. Whoosh. After successfully learning the 3 great 9 heavens techniques, Wang Kai's confidence was off the charts. He lifted the heavenly blade and pointed it at Zhang Hu, who was hovering in the air. Seeing this, Zhang Hu's eyes hardened. He had invited Wang Kai many times, but he did not expect Wang Kai to be so stubborn. Blood steps. Whoosh. Suddenly, Zhang Hu's figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was behind Wang Kai. He brandished his golden spear and aimed it at Wang Kai's back, aiming for the middle of his heart. Aura lock steps. Golden wind kick. Whoosh. However, just as Zhang Hu's spear was about to strike, Wang Kai's body disappeared and appeared behind Zhang Hu. He lifted his leg and kicked at Zhang Hu. Bang, 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 bang. While Zhang Hu, who had missed his attack, did not have time to react. He was kicked by Wang Kai, and blood spurted out of his body. Isn't your heavenly 9 heavens techniques very awesome? Why isn't it useful? Wang Kai waved his heavenly blade and sneered with disdain. Aura lock steps, as the name suggested, was a heavenly 9 heavens technique that used the opponent's aura to teleport. As long as the opponent's aura was released and locked onto by the user would be able to teleport to the opponent's left and right, no matter where the opponent was hiding. Who are you? Not only do you have the heavenly 9 heavens techniques, but you also have the heavenly 9 heavens techniques. Zhang Hu climbed up from the ground with an ugly look on his face. He held his spear tightly and stared at Wang Kai with his black eyes. He did not expect Wang Kai to also have the heavenly 9 heavens techniques. Previously, he did not have it. Otherwise, he would not have been successfully injured. However, in just an instant, he already had the heavenly 9 heavens techniques. Even if he practiced on the spot, it was impossible to perform it so perfectly, right? Who am I? Who am I? Ben Shao is the overlord of the universe. He is the only one in the world. He is the role model for young men, the idol of young girls, and the best partner for mature women. He is so awesome that even your mother loved me so much that she couldn't stop. Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows and laughed proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. These words caused Zhang Hu's face to be startled. Soon after, he gritted his teeth so hard that cracking sounds could be heard. He sternly reprimanded. You're playing the lute to a cow. Die. Blood steps. Whoosh. Zhang Hu roared and turned into a bloody light. He swung his spear at Wang Kai. Undying shield. Wang. However, Wang Kai did not dodge at all. Instead, he waved his hand in the air and a golden transparent barrier appeared in front of him. Bang! Under the attack of the spear, the top of the barrier caved in. It was only a few inches away from Wang Kai's head before it stopped. Are you the only one with a shield? I'm sorry, Ben Shao not only has one, but it is also stronger than yours. Lightning Speed Blade. I'll chop your grandpa. Wang Kai opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of saliva. He brandished his heaven-cleansing blade and madly slashed at Zhang Hu. Whoosh! Bang! Crack! In an instant, the bloody barrier in front of Zhang Hu was shattered by Wang Kai's continuous attacks. Even Zhang Hu's body was sent flying by the impact. Wah! Zhang Hu supported himself with one hand and slid out nearly 100 steps before he stopped. He raised his head and stared coldly at Wang Kai. A mouthful of blood was spat out on the ground. Lightning Speed Blade, Heaven 9 Techniques, was different from the Annihilation Lightning Fire Blade. It was famous for its speed. Although it was not as powerful as the Annihilation Lightning Fire Blade, it was possible to swing it at an extremely fast speed. It was equivalent to swinging it 100 times. No matter how strong Zhang Hu's blood shield was, it was destined to be shattered under the high frequency of attacks. Hee, since you don't want Bin Xiao to use the Annihilation Lightning Fireblade, then Bin Xiao can only use the Heaven 9 techniques. What do you think? Do you admit defeat? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and grinned fiercely. It had to be said that Wang Kai had a great time fighting this battle. He had never met an opponent who was on par with him before. Now that he was fighting, it was very satisfying. Arrogant. Even so, what can you do? I have an inexhaustible demonic energy. How long can you last? Blood steps. Blood shield. Buzz. Suddenly, Zhang Hu let out a ferocious laugh, and a blood-red barrier appeared on the surface of his body once again. At the same time, his body turned into a stream of light, waving his long spear as he attacked Wang Kai. I told you that your Heaven 9 techniques can't break Bin Xiao's undying shield. Crack, bang, woo. However, before Wang Kai could finish his words, the undying shield on the surface of his body was smashed by Zhang Hu's spear. His body was even thrown into the air. Fresh blood splattered down as if it was free. Heaven 9 techniques, demonic suppression. Swoosh, rumble. Zhang Hu sneered and swung his spear downwards. The ground instantly cracked open, and a deep trench was clearly visible. Furthermore, there were streams of pitch-black, demonic chi lingering in the deep ravine. Cough, cough, dog, be starred. You cheated. Wang Kai stopped in midair and raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. He looked down at the pretentious Zhang Hu, and his forehead was filled with black lines as he opened his mouth to curse. He did not expect Zhang Hu to have such a powerful offensive Heaven 9 techniques. Cough, cough. Do you know that after using the Heaven 9 techniques, my cultivation level will drop by a small realm after 2 hours? Zhang Hu's face was frighteningly pale, and black blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth uncontrollably. After 2 hours, his cultivation level will drop by a small realm? Wang Kai was stunned when he heard this. However, he came to a realization. No wonder it was so powerful that it could even break the undying shield. It turned out that it was a suicidal attack that could only last for 2 hours at the cost of a drop in cultivation level. Was it a desperate attempt to survive? Idiot, you don't think that you can kill this young master in just 2 hours, do you? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. Swoosh. Hearing this, Zhang Hu frowned. He waved his spear and pointed it at Wang Kai in the air. He smiled sinisterly and said, Haha, indeed, I don't need 2 hours. 15, one breath is enough. Blood steps, Heaven 9 techniques, demonic suppression. Swoosh. As Zhang Hu's figure disappeared, Wang Kai's pupils shrank, and he quickly shouted, F*CKU. Don't you know that this is the time to act tough? Chi lockstep. Lightning speed blade. Clank. Bang. In an instant, Wang Kai's blade and Zhang Hu's spear collided. Under the impact of the two Heaven 9 techniques, the two of them flew back and vomited blood. They were evenly matched. Chapter 722. I didn't expect you to have some tricks up your sleeves. You were actually able to fight Bin Xiao, who has never been defeated in his life. I have to say, you are quite something. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders, squinted his eyes, and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Never been defeated? Zhang Hu's pupils shrank when he heard that. It was hard to tell whether he believed it or not. Then, today, you will understand what it feels like to be defeated. Demonic suppression. Lightning speed blade. Bang. Rumble. In an instant, as Wang Kai and Zhang Hu collided, the void trembled incessantly. The two figures separated and merged, colliding continuously, and were constantly sent flying backwards. Mu Sanyang gritted her teeth as she watched Wang Kai fight without regard for his own life. Her beautiful eyes were filled with anxiety, but she didn't know how to help Wang Kai. The difference in strength was too great. Not to mention interfering, Even getting close to their battle would cost her her life. Bang, 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 bang. Rumble. Then, in the sky, a ray of golden light and a ray of blood light flashed back and forth. When they met, they revealed their figures. One was waving a long blade. The other was waving a long spear. They fiercely clashed with the seemingly endless power of the heavens again and again. Swoosh! However, just as they were about to fight again, Wang Kai suddenly stopped. He raised his hand and shouted, "Wait! Bin Xiao has something to say." Buzz. Hearing that, Zhang Hu's pale face was stunned. Then his pitch-black eyes turned slightly. He smiled eerily and said, "Are you afraid because your power of the heavens is about to run out?" Even after such an exhausting battle, Zhang Hu's face was still normal. He did not show any signs of breathlessness, as if he was a machine that did not know the meaning of fatigue. On the other hand, Wang Kai did not show any signs of fatigue. His relaxed expression was even more exaggerated than Zhang Hu's. Such a scene naturally fell into Zhang Hu's eyes. However, he thought that Wang Kai was deliberately pretending. That was because Zhang Hu was very clear that it was impossible for cultivators to possess an inexhaustible supply of heavenly energy. The reason why he could possess it was because this was his territory, and there was an endless amount of demonic qi for him to use. Bin Xiao's power of the heavens has been exhausted? Would Bin Xiao be afraid? Hey, are you out of your mind? I vaguely remember that countless years ago, this young master had a great battle with the primal chaos sovereign. That battle lasted for hundreds of millions of years. It was truly a battle that caused the heavens to collapse, the earth to split, and the seas to churn. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 4th grade Heavenly Tao realm. Whoosh! Hearing the notification, Wang Kai's expression became even more savage. Then, he laughed even more proudly. "Little bastard, your life is most likely going to be ruined." Is that what you want to say? Die. Demonic suppression. Buzz. Zhang Hu's face was extremely cold. In his heart, he had long wanted to kill Wang Kai. He had thought that Wang Kai would want to surrender when he stopped, but who would have thought that he would insult him? You and Bin Xiao are not on the same level. Why do you have to do this? Wang Kai shrugged and casually swung the heavenly blade. He did not even use his heavenly skill. He just casually swung the blade. You are digging your own grave. Seeing this, Zhang Hu's expression became even colder. He was suddenly extremely disappointed and disdainful of Wang Kai. Such an arrogant move was simply too arrogant. He had never thought that Wang Kai would actually be such an arrogant and underestimating opponent. No, Master Kai. Mu Sanyang, who was below, suddenly became anxious. She did not know where her courage and strength came from. She stepped into the air and swung her long sword at Zhang Hu. Buzz. Bang. Woo. However, before Mu Sanyang could get close, she heard a muffled sound, followed by Zhang Hu's cry of pain. What happened? Whoosh. Boom. For a moment, Mu Sanyang was stunned in midair, especially when Zhang Hu's body flew past her like a kite with a broken string. She was even more shocked. Whoosh. Wang Kai waved the heavenly blade and looked down at Zhang Hu, who had fallen to the ground. He could not help but rub his nose and smile, rather speechlessly. This young master has already said that the current you is not on the same level as this young master. You're too weak. Cough, cough. In the deep pit, Zhang Hu's face was extremely distorted. He looked at the long spear that had been bent by Wang Kai's heavenly blade. He lowered his head and looked at his own chest, which had caved in due to the impact. In an instant, he was furious. Bastard, you had a rank 1 realm cultivation. If that's the case, why did you insist on a fair fight? Don't tell me you're scared? Zhang Hu shouted. Wang Kai was speechless. Zhang Hu was probably the only one who knew how to goad him. He shrugged and said impatiently, Bin Xiao has never been afraid of anyone. Also, Bin Xiao did not continue to fight with you at the same level because Bin Xiao is tired of fighting. Whoosh! Zhang Hu's face darkened. He wanted to rely on the endless demonic qi here to exhaust Wang Kai to death. Who would have thought that Wang Kai had hidden his cultivation? How could he make up for the difference of a rank 1 realm? Impossible. You now have two choices. First, let Saintess Yunshi go. Ben Xiao will spare your life, considering that you're an ordinary cultivator. Second, continue to resist Ben Xiao or run away. Ben Xiao will not hesitate to kill you. Wang Kai raised 2 fingers and said in a casual tone, "Whoosh!" Zhang Hu's pitch-black eyes flickered after hearing this. As he stared at Wang Kai, he glanced at the mountain with the corner of his eyes. His pale face became enraged. "Even if I die, I won't hand Yunshi over to you. She's mine. They belong to me, Zhang Hu. No one can take her away from me. No one can. No one dares to touch her." Following Zhang Hu's crazy roar, a terrifying demonic qi sprang into the sky. Buzz. Meanwhile, a terrifying demonic qi was generated deep inside the mountain, as if it were responding to Zhang Hu's roar. "I'm the demon concubine, the wife of the demon god." Following this, a familiar yet strange voice could be heard, which startled Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang's expression stiffened as she glanced toward the voice in disbelief. "Ha! Did you hear that? Yunshi chose me. She chose me, Zhang Hu. It's not you." Zhang Hu suddenly laughed out loud. Chapter 723. Buzz. Deep in the mountains, Yun Shi, who was wearing a long red dress, slowly floated up into the sky. Her beautiful face was now as pale as a sheet of paper. Her seductive blood-red lips and her pitch-black, emotionless eyes caused Wang Kai's pupils to shrink. Whoosh! Yun, she raised her arm. No emotion could be seen on her pale face. She pointed at Wang Kai with her sharp, dagger-like nails and said indifferently, "Become a demon god's disciple and become a ghost guard. Otherwise die." Buzz. As soon as she finished speaking, the dark air in the mountains became more intense. However, although there was demon qi, there was more death qi. This situation made the veins on Wang Kai's forehead bulge. He looked at Zhang Hu coldly and said in a deep voice, "Didn't you say that you love her? If that's the case, why do you still want to kill her?" "Kill her?" Whoosh! Hearing this, Mu Sanyang was stunned. She covered her red lips and looked at the pale Saintess Yunshi in disbelief. Indeed, the current Saintess Yunshi was completely different from the previous pure and sorrowful Saintess Yunshi. What replaced it was endless indifference, especially the strange aura, which was exactly the same as Zhang Hu's. Moreover, the deathly aura that surrounded the demonic aura also proved what Wang Kai had said. The current Saintess Yunshi was indeed dead. She had become a ghost cultivator, but she did not cultivate the ghost path, but the demon path. Ha! What do you know? True love should be like this. This god fiend cultivates the devil Dao, while she cultivates the ghost Dao and the devil Dao. You should be very clear about the power brought about by cultivating 2 Daos at the same time, right? Zhang Hu laughed out loud. His expression was simply overjoyed. Cultivating 2 paths at the same time. The demon path, the ghost path. These words made Wang Kai's face turn even paler. He gritted his teeth and sneered. "Are you saying that you left the best for Yunshi?" "That's right. Whether it was the inheritance of the demon god or the inheritance of the ghost path that I obtained later, I gave it to her without reservation. Can you acquire these 2 successions? Can you give it to her?" Zhang Hu roared like a madman. That look of disdain and contempt seemed to be saying that Wang Kai couldn't give Saintess Yunshi anything. He looked like a vile character who was intoxicated by success. He, supreme legacy of the demon Dao and supreme legacy of the ghost Dao. To think that you're this strong. Since you can possess both supreme legacies, why don't you cultivate them yourself? Could it be that you can't do it? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a cold smile. Previously, he had only wanted to have a fair fight with Zhang Hu because he wanted to play around. But now, Wang Kai was ready to kill. If he didn't kill these people, he wouldn't be satisfied. Haha, the sovereign of the ghost Tao is a woman, and the Tao technique that she created can only be cultivated by women. I originally intended to let Ruoshui cultivate it, but unfortunately, her physique is not compatible with the sovereign of the ghost Tao's Tao technique, and her talent is not enough to cultivate it. So, At the end of his speech, Zhang Hu became more excited. His crazy look made Wang Kai shake his head and sigh. It had to be said that people would change when they reached a high position, and the more they changed, the crazier they became. In the past, Zhang Hu was just an ordinary man. Compared to the cultivators, he was so weak that he couldn't even trust a chicken. At that time, he couldn't even save Saintess Yunxi, who had been captured by the Sky-Reaching School. But now, not only had he stepped into the cultivation world, but he had also become a heavenly Tao realm demon god. However, his will had also become chilling. The more you get, the more you think, and the bigger your heart. More importantly, your face has become much bigger. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered with disdain. Swoosh! Zhang Hu didn't care when he heard that. He naturally knew what Wang Kai meant, but he chose to ignore it. He turned to look at Yunxi and raised his hand to summon her. Cheer, come here. Let's join forces and kill this guy. Yes, demon god. Buzz. As soon as she finished speaking, Saintess Yunxi moved lightly and slowly floated toward Zhang Hu. Bin Xiao is still here. Don't you think it's too early for you to show off? Swoosh. Suddenly, Wang Kai grinned hideously. He waved the sky blade and strode in front of Yunxi. With the help of the ghost Tao and the demon Tao, you have just broken through to the heavenly emperor realm? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and glanced at Yunxi. He had already seen through her current cultivation realm. It had to be said that although the demon Tao and the ghost Tao's cultivation techniques were strange and ruthless, their speed of cultivation was indeed terrifying. Yunxi, who had been in the heavenly monarch realm before, had reached the heavenly emperor realm in less than a day. She had directly crossed several small realms. Get lost! Saintess Yunxi's eyes narrowed. She opened her red lips slightly and scolded sternly. Although I don't know how much power you, who is only in the heavenly emperor realm, can unleash when you join forces with Zhang Hu, Bin Xiao doesn't want to see that scene. So, you'd better go to sleep first. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled. He suddenly raised his hand and pressed his palm against Yunxi's forehead. At the same time, a drop of blood essence dripped from Wang Kai's palm. It instantly shuttled through the void and silently fell on Saintess Yunxi's red sleeve. Blood steps, demonic suppression, buzz, rumble. However, before Wang Kai could succeed, Zhang Hu's body turned into a ray of bloodlight. He directly grabbed Saintess Yunxi's arm and brought her up into the sky. At the same time, the long golden spear also attacked Wang Kai. The tip of the spear was aimed at his heart. Poof! Crack! Soon after, under Zhang Hu's astonished gaze, Wang Kai's heart was directly pierced by the long spear, while his body abruptly exploded, turning into a rain of blood that filled the sky. No! Young Master Kai! Mu Sanyang's beautiful face turned pale when she saw this. She wanted to go forward and grab Wang Kai, but all she could grab was the broken flesh and blood that splashed all over her body. Her beautiful but pale face was stained with blood. Ignorant, idiot, trash. When Zhang Hu came to his senses, he suddenly burst into laughter. Originally, the attack just now was to prevent Wang Kai from attacking Yunxi. He did not expect that it would actually kill Wang Kai. It seems that you also love Yunxi very much. Otherwise, how could you not be prepared? It's a pity that such a powerful ghost guard is lost. Zhang Hu sneered sinisterly. Oh, Bin Xiao also feels that it's a pity that he lost such a pretentious follower. Suddenly, the drop of blood that fell on Saintess Yunxi's sleeve floated out and turned into a naked Wang Kai who was holding the sky blade tightly. Lightning speed blade. Buzz. Crack. In an instant, the blade swept out and accurately hit Zhang Hu's body. Following a loud explosion, Zhang Hu's body was split in half from his head all the way to his crotch as he fell from the sky. You? How dare you? Bang! Seeing this, Saintess Yunshi rolled her eyes. She raised her sharp claws and tried to grab Wang Kai's throat. However, before she could do it, Wang Kai pressed his palm between her eyebrows, and she fainted in Wang Kai's arms. Damn it! Do you think it's easy for Ben Xiao because of you? IF asterisk King died again. That feeling, F asterisk CK, your grandpa. Really? You're not dead? Wang Kai, who was halfway through his sentence, suddenly narrowed his eyes. He held Yunshi in his arms and looked down at Zhang, who was lying on the ground. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.